Good evening, and welcome to Masterpiece Shitpiece Theater. If you would please kindly take your seats, the show will begin momentarily. Hello. Hey, Nick. Can barely hear you on the broadcast.
Now you should hear me. I
He's in
unmuted the wrong one. So hold on a second. There we
Hey,
go.
While you're doing
Yeah.
that next week, we
Now
should
mute the other one so you
I
don't
did.
go. Okay.
There we go. I'm sorry, babies, that I'm still learning all this bullshit. All right, we got some stuff to talk about this week, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get into fucking intros. We got two guests tonight. We're gonna go ahead and start with them, and then we'll go down how we usually do. Dakota, tell them where you're at.
Hey everybody, you can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath.
That's beautiful. Dalton,
Thanks.
tell them where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me everywhere at Daltonians TFs.
That
How do you
sounds
spell that?
beautiful.
What was it?
How do you spell it?
Well, DALTINIANTFS.
That's creative. Josh!
He broke me. I couldn't help it. What's up, everybody? You can find me a little bit everywhere. Find me on Facebook under my regular name. Links to all my social media profiles there. Follow me if you will. If you won't, that's fine too. You can catch me on the All Queued Up podcast every Friday that I do with my friend Greg. Published a new episode today. Listen to it tomorrow and let us know what you think. Hang out here with the rest of us because I love being here with these guys every Friday night around 9 p.m. ish. And occasionally, when we can get our schedules together, me and Dalton, Dakota, and a few other guys from Stasis Lock, and sometimes Rob and Russ, do a little show called Off the Runner.
Yeah, once in a while.
That
Every
sounds
once in a while.
that sounds
Uh,
beautiful.
I'm
But
gonna
that's
see.
me.
I gotta say like a high grade to do that. You know.
I like high grade.
Yeah, I do.
If
I
you're
agree.
doing creative shit, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Do creative shit.
Rob! Rob, where are you?
I'm right here, man. You can't see me. You can't hear me. What the fuck? Come on.
Tell him.
I'm getting a really bad echo from
Yeah, me too.
somebody.
Yeah.
Echo.
No.
Echo.
Still echo.
A little bit.
Fuck.
So anyway,
Yes.
Okay.
If
I'm
the
just
show
Rob
echoes, it
everywhere.
echoes.
next.
Rob's
Russ!
done. Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Rustamus here. Yes, King of the Penis Pics. And yeah, you know my YouTube channel is the shit. And
we can't go one show without talking about penis.
Oh my god.
Spoiler alert: they're not his pics of his penis.
He
They're
just
his
draws
pics
men's
of
penis with
every
his
other.
Josh, I kind of passed one of those off as mine, dude. It was like huge. But anyway,
You
you'll
can
find
find
it.
him on Instagram at Russ's Random Dick Pics.
Indeed. Yeah, they keep
Russ
all
is
this
God.
Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all those fun fucking, social
Pornhub.
platforms. And hey, talk about that, okay? Anna's
man.
right here. You know what I mean?
I don't
Ixnay
hate
on
you
the
for the hustle. You gotta make that
Ixnay
money.
on the
Get that money while you
Ixnay.
can.
yeah, Ixnay on the Orn Pay, okay?
Wouldn't pay.
Oh, I don't
Lord.
pay. Anyway, and of course, every Friday night I'm here with these guys, and yeah, we have a great time. Looking forward to tonight's show. It's going to be a good time.
That was a beautiful intro.
thank
Sam.
you.
What's up, guys? I'm Sam Mead in the Facebook groups here every Friday night, and you can find me on Off the Runner. I'll be coloring a coloring book.
Real quick, so my wife will stop whispering in my goddamn ear. Thank you,
geez.
Anna, for getting me up and running tonight. I love you. You are the joy of my life. I
What were you
appreciate
doing,
all that you
sleeping?
do for me.
I don't believe you.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, you're really
Heck,
phoning it in
you're
here.
reminded
Your
to
tone
thank
is
your
not-
wife.
Dude, for real, man, it's almost Mother's Day too. You better lose that attitude, Russ.
Yeah, I know. Sam just told me I'm going to lose
You're gonna
that.
get
Dude, she's gonna rip your penis off and then take pictures of it and post it for fun.
Instead of
no,
a
we
pink, instead of a pinky on Sunday, you're gonna get the whole thumb.
Hey, you guys remember? Oh God.
usually saves that for Wednesdays.
Yeah, you guys remember Lorena Bobbitt, the whole story, right? Or-
Yes.
What the fuck?
No. My sister's like friends with her, dude. So
Really?
it's
Yeah,
like-
she.
yeah,
I mean, that happened, right outside of Manassas in Centerville.
Yeah. yeah. My sister, well,
She used to work at Supercuts up there.
yeah, she used to do.
Lorena Bobbitt
she was
worked
a
at
hairdresser.
Supercuts.
Yeah.
She was a hairdresser. Somebody gave that woman a job with scissors. And
She
she went
also
back
did-
to her maiden name, which is cut a cock off.
She also did nails too. Cut a cock off. Really? How fucking creative is that? There we go.
That's
Very
pretty
good.
creative. That's very
it was,
creative.
It
Actually,
was very creative. I gotta give him credit. It was. But
It's all good.
okay, now that we've mangled that up, by the way,
Yeah.
Dust, I apologize. We are they're not. We're not gonna make any money.
That's what
Don't
we do.
apologize.
We mangle shit. That's what we do.
If they expect anything more out of us, they haven't been watching us for the last several episodes.
I mean, hell, I'm mangled myself, so
I thought it was that bear that mangled you. What the fuck, man?
it was a bear trap.
Nice.
Yeah, Legos aren't fun.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
We'll take your foot off.
it was a working model of a Lego bear trap.
Sam, did we ever finish your intro?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm
There's a habit,
Masterpiece
you can find him at
Shitpiece.
Mortar.
Nick Brammer. You can find me on Facebook as Nick Brammer. You can find me on Twitter at Brammer_Nick. You can also find me on Instagram as Masterpiece_Shitpiece. So welcome to the show. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you could give your Pornhub account too. I mean, come on.
My
always commenting all day. Always commenting.
my Pornhub account is Numminstingy69.
Wow. Hey, that's also your Ashley Madison account name, isn't it?
No,
God.
I don't have an Ashley Madison account because I'm single.
Your wife is going to choke you in your sleep.
She doesn't listen to the shit anyway.
honestly, it's better to be choked when you're awake. For being real. So,
Yeah, I know. It has more effect.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Kinda gets
better.
you off.
I mean, that's why it is called autoerotic asphyxiation. So.
That's what it's called. Okay, sorry.
That's. What
No, it's
Russ
just
and I-
called being choked
saw
when
it,
someone else does it to you.
Yeah, I call it a Saturday night.
Wait a minute.
In the future, when we find Russ hanging from a coat rack, we'll all know what happened.
Is this where they coined the phrase "choking the chicken"?
This is with. Hey, I'm not a chicken, motherfucker. Take it easy. All right.
All right, settle down, McFly.
All right.
We get it. Nobody calls you chicken.
Right.
Nobody puts Russ in the corner.
Unless he asks for it.
Well, yeah, I know. Only if it's the dirty cut.
The only time he goes in the corner is to read his pout books.
Oh God.
The pout
His
pout
pout
fish.
pout books.
That's so sad.
quick, quick,
It's
quick
really sad.
story.
Open
Quick
one
story
up.
about this. We did a Secret Santa. All of us did a Secret Santa back, for Christmas, of course. But it was a bunch of us that rode the Bang Bus plus a few others. Nick was included, Misty was included, Gort was included. Well, Russ didn't take it seriously, and JL got Russ, and Russ wouldn't take it seriously. He didn't make a wish list or anything. So JL's like, Anna, what the fuck do I get him, man? It's like, here, get him this shit. Got him some fucking little children's books about this character called the Pout Pout Fish. So
He also got me some of those Try My Nuts.
yeah,
Got me some hot Try My Nuts and some really sweet hot Try My Nuts and
Russ likes sweet nuts in his mouth.
you know me,
His
baby.
favorite was the tangy, vinegary ones.
I wish. I like them angry and vinegary. But I got the coolest thing he got me was these awesome sunglasses that are badass. You can like change out you can make them all different colors. You can change out it's really cool, dude.
They were
I'm saving
beautiful
them for the
blue
summer.
blockers.
Yeah, they're beautiful, man. I like them.
Russ
We're
needs
still-
blue blockers.
Blue
We're still
blockers.
I think Russ is
still
trying to
gonna get
divert
that.
from having JL's nuts in his mouth.
Hey, hey, Jail's nuts are sweet. Let me tell you. Mm-mm.
What's
Hi,
up,
JL.
Carmen Balls?
What's up, sweetie? Oh my God.
All right.
I
So,
I knew JL was cheating on me.
I think we've officially lost about 8 viewers already, so
I don't give a shit.
Oh, they're missing
So,
out.
we're going to talk some trailers that dropped this week and then go straight into our end game discussion because I think it's going to take all fucking night.
Pretty much.
So, we had 3 pretty good trailers drop this week. Well, 2 pretty good trailers and something. So, the first one we're going to go ahead and talk about is It,
Part 2. Ooh.
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Kill that
What the
6
fuck
limbic the first
ever.
time?
I thought that shit was great.
Dude.
For a first look
Go ahead.
at it, I thought
Yeah.
it hit the tone pretty good. Got to see Bill Hader. That's always a positive.
I
I'm
don't
looking
remember
forward to it.
I love Bill Hader.
Yeah, dude's hilarious.
It's been a long time since I've seen the original It, and I never saw part 1 of this new one.
Oh,
I
part
need to
1 was
watch
great.
it. But
Dude,
what's with
watch
the old
part
lady?
1.
What's with the old lady?
But
You'll just have
it's a
to-
part of the book and the miniseries.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord. All right. Yeah, she's like a creepy old chick, though. I'm like, oh my god. It's all
You need
really
to, you
fucked
need
up.
to watch the first one, Russ.
Is the old lady in the first one too?
No, but
I'm asking about the old lady. How's the first one going to help me with the old lady?
it provides context.
Okay, it provides context. Like, so does it tell you in the first one about the old lady?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. You get her entire backstory.
Okay,
Um,
all right. So you understand why she's creepy and old, and
Yeah, you do. And, she's got a terrible yeast infection, and that's that rash on her chest.
dude,
And it's spread all the way from her vagina to her chest.
Oh
that's
Lord.
that's a
Tonight's-
pretty nasty rash. They have ointments for that.
Tonight's show is brought to you by
She ate
Monistat.
it like paste.
Did you say she ate it like paste? Oh God.
Yeah. Well, she was the little girl in the preschool that always ate the tubs of paste, and
Joy.
it carried on throughout life, and she would eat creams.
So,
You just
anybody that watched the first It, unlike fucking Russ, have any thoughts on the trailer?
I thought it was pretty fantastic. I'm really pumped to go see it. I loved the first one.
I did
And-
not watch the first one, but it was because I heard that they kind of cut it off midway. So
Well, yeah,
that's my
it's
deal.
set up into. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Right. Well, I mean, like my deal is like waiting to watch the first one, like to go see the second one. Basically,
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
is where I'm at with it.
Oh yeah, definitely watch the first one and then go see the second one, of course.
Yeah,
You're like me. You would rather ingest all of the media at one point in
Yes.
time instead of having to wait.
Yes.
You like
Which is why I
Except for-
haven't started watching Game of Thrones yet.
I was gonna say, except for like Endgame, because Endgame was like, it's like I had to watch Infinity War.
Wasn't
But,
the
you know,
the original It movie was like 4 hours long? It was like a 2-part thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It
it was
was-
a 3-hour
Was
miniseries.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it was a miniseries made for ABC television back in 1990,
Yeah, it's
starring Tim
divided.
Curry, and it ran over 2 nights, and its total runtime without commercials is like 3 hours and 10 minutes. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember it being divided because it was like the time when they were kids, and then they come back when they're adults. And
Well, it's the
See,
same
I never,
fucking
like,
thing
I-
here.
I only watched like bits and pieces of, I guess, the first one, because like, man, like, look, I get it, you guys are from that time, and I'm really not trying to like take a dump all over that, but like any movie that came out like before 1995, like in terms of like action, or real life or whatever, it's just not for me. Like, I just can't get behind. I'm a child of the 90s and the early 2000s when it comes to media intake.
okay,
So,
you're a lot like my son. My son's the same way.
dude, thanks, Dad.
He doesn't. Yeah, it's a little scary.
Well, the great thing is Dakota. They're remaking it, and
Exactly.
from
Dude, I'm
what
cool
I've
with them
seen-
remaking everything from like the 70s to like the mid 90s. Like, they can do it. Like, let's just do it. No complaints.
Some movies still stand on their own, but
The Breakfast Club.
So Dakota, you ever watched the original Terminator?
Dude, bits and pieces. Like, it was just one of those things. Like, visually, I was just like,
It's like
this is a bit
bad.
rough.
That's a,
1984, that was
good.
cutting fucking edge.
That's a good fucking movie.
Dude, that's the thing. I bet it was. Like I said, I'm not trying to dump on, because I know like those of you that were alive that went and saw that, like that's like the equivalent of like me watching Endgame today, or any of the Marvel flicks today. But
Is it amazing all you old fucks that saw that?
dude, like that was literally the most polite way I could be like, you guys are old.
I know.
And I was trying to keep it like polite as possible.
That's too funny. Oh, geez.
Well, see, me being a person that's not a big fan of horror movies, going in seeing it, I really enjoyed it. It was,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I really liked it.
Well, that's because if you're not a big fan of horror movies, but you did like it, that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. And that must mean it was a really good movie because most people that don't like that genre wouldn't care for it unless they had something else going for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I'll check it out. I'll watch part 1 at some point, and then I'll check out part 2. I'll wait till it comes out on like Netflix.
Dude, Russ really is a hater. Like I wasn't gonna wait until Netflix. Like, I was gonna, check out part 1 and then go to the movies and see part 2 whenever it hits. But Russ just a hater.
Russ hates everything.
He
Man,
really
video
does.
blog coming from the front seat of his car, coming to a
Dude.
YouTube near you.
He's all the time giving me shit saying I hate on everything, but no. Russ hates every goddamn thing.
I told you I'm trying to be better about it. God damn. We had our little therapy session. I told you I'm working on it.
Work harder.
Oh god, it's hard, man. I just start right away. I see something, I go, that sucks. I'm not watching.
Russ the type of dude that thinks the Sonic trailer looked good.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oof.
No, you're sadly mistaken. I was very distraught about that trailer.
Russ is like, don't ever disrespect me like that again.
Yeah, my feelings were that trailer hurt my feelings. That's how bad it was. I was like, oh, Sonic, what they do to you? So yeah, it's pretty bad.
All right. Next one that dropped was Watchmen. What the fuck was that?
Dude,
I
like
don't know.
there was Rorschach, but that's literally the only thing that I recognized.
It was like
Yeah.
Citizen V. Not Citizen V. Fucking V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
Dude,
That's
I
what
wasn't
They all had
necessarily
fu-
sure I was watching
Yeah.
the right trailer.
Yeah, I mean, they all had Rorschach masks. What the
that
fuck?
was crazy.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I'm not super into DC, but Watchmen is definitely probably my favorite thing as far as DC cinema goes. Like, I didn't read I'm not reading Doomsday Clock, and I didn't read the old graphic novel or whatever. But I enjoyed that first movie with like Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the comedian, and so on and so forth. Bruh, what was her her name? Miss Venus or something like that. Miss Jupiter.
Miss Jupiter.
Damn, son. Damn. Anyways,
Well,
Like-
here's the thing. This is like it's set in the universe, but it takes place after the events of the comic years later. So you're not gonna. The only recurring character from the original is Ozymandias. Jeremy Irons plays him. Nobody else is showing up. This is based on other characters around in that universe.
So Dr. Manhattan's not part of that either?
Nope. Well, if you remember the events of the comics and the movie, he exiled himself from Earth at the end of Watchmen.
Yeah.
They do went to
Rorschach was-
Mars. Hashtag
yeah.
Space Force.
Rorschach
Mars.
was dead. Rorschach was dead, and Night Owl and Silk Spectre, too. They
Bro,
gave
Silk
up.
Spectre too, man. Her and Miss Jupiter both. Get the
Mm.
old razzle dazzle.
Yeah,
Nice.
they pretty much retired, and of course the comedian was dead. I mean, there was nobody left. But yeah, this is going to be a continuation, so I'm really interested in seeing how this is going to go, because I like new stories from different points of view and different takes on things. I love the first Watchmen movie, but if they hadn't made the few changes they did make to it, while it was visually beautiful, it would have been very fucking boring, because it was almost a literal panel for panel direct translation.
And I don't think they had the rights to Cthulhu.
Well, I mean, it wasn't.
Fucking dick.
It wasn't Cthulhu, but yeah,
It was a giant space squid.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was Cthulhu's Riri son.
Well,
It-
at least
well,
at least they're trying to do a new story and they're not trying to
Yeah.
kind of retell an old one already. That's cool.
I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, I am. I like that. That's not bad. That's some originality at least.
Yeah, but I thought this trailer was
Yeah.
shit.
And
Well-
it's on HBO, so there's going to be a bunch of naked titties.
Good point.
I'm just keeping it 100%. Just keeping it 100%.
You know what's funny, Nick? I was watching it and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? I'm not sure.
yeah, it's not presented very well what it is supposed to be.
Yeah, it definitely gets you.
If you're going in expecting, like a series, ongoing series featuring the comic book characters before the comic book took place, that's not what it is.
Right.
I feel like that story is already I feel like that story was told well enough in the movie. Albeit abridged in short form, but there's nothing more they can really expand upon for that. So I like things that move forward, because after the movie wrapped up, it's like, well, shit, that's it. But the fact that they are going to kind of move forward in universe with it, I like that. I think that's cool. But as far as presenting it as a trailer, they probably could have used maybe done a little bit better. But I also feel like on the other side of that coin, that maybe if they showed too much, it would have spoiled too much because of the next trailer that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's just my thing.
Oh, dude, that's so funny you're saying that because all right, we'll get there.
Now, did you ever watch the Ultimate Director's Cut that had the Black Freighter comic, the animated part put back in with the Watchmen, and they weaved it in to the appropriate part?
I didn't.
Really?
I heard there were 16 different cuts to it, and it's there was an ultimate cut, a director cut,
The
ultimate director cut.
The Ultimate Cut has deleted scenes from the movie put back in, plus all the Black Freighter tales, the comic that the kids reading in each book, interwoven through the story in the appropriate parts.
That's awesome.
And
I bet that comes together a lot nicer than the regular cut.
It was really like watching the fucking comic.
So you mean it was a movie where Zack Snyder got his fucking vision out and wasn't cut off?
Well, yeah, but
my question is, so it'll be on HBO. That means chances are we can watch the Watchmen movie now on HBO.
Well,
sometimes on
set it up.
HBO they do like for Deadpool, they have the super duper cut,
Yeah.
along with the theatrical cut.
Mhm.
So I wonder if maybe like, because if they have that, man, like after this and after I binge watch Beast Wars Neo, like I'll probably look into that, see if they maybe have the ultimate cut or whatever it's called.
Well, I mean, it was on
Prime.
Amazon Prime. You can watch it.
Oh, see, no, I stopped paying for horse shit a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
I need
Sorry,
my
man,
free
it's just,
shipping.
I used to be a believer too, Josh. Don't worry.
Hey, I get so much shit from Amazon. It's just a bonus for me. You know, it's all
Yeah.
that free shipping.
I used to, but like then they started doing, the quote unquote American thing and started charging tax. I'm like, I was out. Prime rates went up, started charging tax. What's the point? eBay.
I don't know.
is.
We still have kids, so as much shit as we buy for the kids, we save a ton of money on Amazon. So Amazon Prime for the win.
I feel like I should contribute more to Amazon Prime Japan, even though I wouldn't get any of the Prime Japan benefits, just because like that's my new go-to. I can watch the Japan version of The Bachelor if I get that. So,
Oh, they do a Japanese version.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
not
if they do the
brilliant.
Japanese Bachelor, when the chicks get kicked off the show, do they commit seppuku?
Seppuku? Wait, you mean? Did you say seppuku?
Seppuku,
Oh, he said
seppuku,
seppuku.
something.
He said, do they play poker cards? Like, man, come on, Nick.
Dude, that's so awesome.
We all know it's Sudoku.
Sudoku.
Sudoku. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
all
fucking
the losing ladies on the Japanese Bachelor have to solve complex math problems.
Oh, God.
Easy, man. That's one of my wives you're talking about one day.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
Oh, God. All right.
so now let's move on to the next one.
All right. Dakota, you get to go first on this one because I'm dying to hear what you have to say about
Spider-Man Far From Home dropped their trailer.
All right, so let's go ahead and get the first bit out of the way. The whole kind of focusing on the Iron Man death, that I have no issues with because it's like they warned you, blah blah blah, don't watch this. But the thing that I kind of have the issue with, and I like kind of where they're going, because we get the kind of introduction of multiverses, or so we believe, because like that's Mysterio's whole shtick, right? Makes you think that he's really there for the good, and turns out he's just been causing all the bad the whole time so he can play the hero.
Right.
Like a lot of people that I talk to that aren't like really familiar with the Mysterio character are just like, no, he's from a different universe. He's gonna be good. And I'm like, no, he's not. Like I feel like he's from this universe, talking that bullshit, and like I said, man, like we're familiar with the Mysterio character, regardless of what universe he may or may not be from. And that's cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I love that aspect. But like they just showed too much, like talking about he's from a different universe and like you're part of Universe 616, and like that's another thing because I didn't think the MCU was part of the 616, which is the main universe. But I feel like that's an interesting way to bring in stuff like the Ultimates universe. Like we can maybe start getting some Ultimates movies, because like my dream is Secret Wars 2015. I know everyone wants the original Secret Wars, and that's all well and good, but I like the 2015 story. When I think it was the Beyonders came and like fucked everything up. Anyway, I'm getting too far ahead. I just think that they let too much of the plot slip. And it's like they did a really good job with Endgame, man. Endgame, the trailers were like just the first 15 minutes of footage.
Yeah,
like
they didn't give you shit hardly for Endgame.
And it's understandable, and I feel like they should have done that with Far From Home. That said, it's interesting. Like it's got me pumped. Me personally, where I'm at, and we'll talk about it when we get to the discussion. Like I feel such a sense of finality right now that I don't care what the MCU does going forward. I'm so fulfilled from just a fictional standpoint that I'm only gonna go see Far From Home as that kind of bookend, the epilogue, and that's what I feel like it's doing, because it is the last movie of this phase.
Now, Dakota, I agree with you. Actually, what you said, I think they gave away a lot in the trailer. A lot, man. I was like,
yeah, man. Like, what is this, Jurassic World Part 2?
Seriously.
Like, it was just too much. Like, it was too much. Like you got Nick Fury in there, and they're kind of working hand in hand with Mysterio. Like, man, don't put that shit in the trailer. Like, you just killed like any in my opinion, any kind of surprise that there would have been.
Yeah, and there's and I think what I do like what they did is I think they tried to do like okey doke on people that don't know the character Mysterio. People that don't know the character, like the how you call it, not a comic book dorks like us, but like the guy, the person that's just gonna go see the movie
fuck
and
you call me?
Casuals.
Casuals. There you go, like casuals. They don't know the character, so they kind of pulled the okey doke on him because they did kind of make it like the character like he's a good guy. Really,
that's the thing. Like I feel like a lot of the filthy casuals that go see these movies.
Yeah.
I feel like like they're gonna Google search this guy. Anytime there's somebody that pops up in a movie, like they're gonna Google search who that character is, what they're about.
I don't know, man. That's what you might be giving them a little too much credit. I don't know. But maybe.
That's like, dude, that's like how did all the casuals know who Thanos was at the end of the 2012 Avengers movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they didn't. They asked one of their nerdy fucking friends because they're too lazy to do a Google search. Because here's the thing. Look at your Facebook feed. You always see some dumb motherfucker. Hey, what does XX? How do I figure that? What do I do here? Google it, motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's also totally fair. I just like I said, man. For the extreme casual moviegoer, let's go see the newest Marvel flick, dear. They're gonna be blown away that this is Mysterio's like deal. But like then again, like there's a friend of mine and she like whenever she's not sure about a character, she'll Google him, and then she'll ask me questions. And she was just like even she's kind of duped. She's like, no, I think he's generally from another universe. And I'm like, okay, you can fall for it, but I'm not. Like, Logan fell for it, Spider-Man fell for it. I'm not gonna fall for it. This is America. This is who I am. I'm a pioneer.
See, here I am putting in my 2 cents. I've got to say, I kind of believe he might be from another reality, but he's not a. Well, hang on. Let me finish.
You played yourself.
Let me finish. He's a villain of that universe, but since he's in a new place, he can play them.
You played yourself.
They have no idea who this guy is. It's a whole new, just a whole new realm for him to.
For sure. Realm. I'm all about I'm all about like them expanding on the multiverse. I'm all about it, and I think they will do that.
Not for 1 second is he from another universe.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
He is a dude that's he's a dude that's been around and been perfecting his shit, and now
You're not fooling anyone.
Used his skills in theatrics and special effects and all kinds of other things to. He's just a dude.
And it looks like they're giving him kind of the basic like the Doctor Strange powers. You know what I mean? Like you saw the little circles in his hands and all that.
Yeah, but probably not nowhere near as skilled as Doctor Strange.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. But like the fact that it looks like he will be skilled in some of the illusionary mystical arts.
Some of the arts. Yeah, well, I'm okay with that.
Why the fuck would he be magic? He's a special effects guy.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I feel like they will write that in because like there haven't been a whole lot of tiebacks to Strange, and the the mystic arts and things like that. So I think that's where they're going to try to do it. Like, what better way to explain away special effects than magic?
Night of Ren in the chat said that that Chameleon is posing as Nick Fury, and I thought that was I thought I heard something about Chameleon being in the movie.
That would be cool.
Yeah, there's someone cast as Dimitri.
Yeah, so I think that could explain some of this stuff.
How fucking cool that would be.
That would be very cool.
I'd be like, okay, all right.
Cool.
Yo, I got the feeling as soon as I watched it that wasn't Nick Fury. I said it to y'all in the chat. I was like, that's not Nick Fury.
I don't know if I subscribe to that conspiracy.
Well, see, what the thing is I believe Nick Fury's gonna have to help Spider-Man after. They figure out that this dude's been fucking with special effects in my ass.
Yeah, with Homecoming, I mean, we had there's that bait and switch with Vulture being that girl's dad, and I could see something like that in this, where it's like you kind of knew, like, okay, this is the bad guy. It's a pretty straightforward plot, but there's still those things that keep it interesting.
Yeah, there's always little.
I remember seeing that shit in theaters, and I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen that first Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland.
Oh, dude,
I could give two.
it's
I
pretty
could give
good.
two
Yeah.
shits about it, and I'm not gonna see this one either.
I'm not even
Why
a huge. I'm not really even a huge Spider-Man fan, but I liked it.
me neither. And I mean, I've seen every Spider-Man movie, but I mean,
Dude,
I'm at this point. I'm just gonna watch every Marvel.
Yo, if
movie.
he don't go emo and start doing a John Travolta dance, I don't care.
He's the best.
All right, you're high.
No, they also gave away something that really pissed me off in the trailer too. I mean, when again MJ basically says, you know, he says, I got something to tell you, and she's like, what, you're Spider-Man or something like that, and then it's like,
Yeah, that's something
Man,
like
Well,
even
that
if
was-
it
they
is
did that in the first movie already.
like that better be a joke, dude.
even that's the thing. Like even if it is like a big joke, like that's just not something you put in a trailer, man. Like
Right, I agree.
save
I totally
that.
agree. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You can't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a
Oh,
feeling it's
man.
gonna be a big joke. Like she's gonna just like slap him on the shoulder, like I'm kidding.
G money in the chat, Rush. Pissed. Shocker.
And that's right, Walt. I hate Dan Slott, and now I am saying that I have not seen the first Spider-Man movie. Fuck Dan Slott and fuck that Spider-Man movie.
The Spider-Man movie is better than the third Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Arguably better than the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Definitely better than the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Andrew Garfield.
I didn't
I
like.
did too. I liked the
In-
first one.
In retrospect,
But-
I didn't like any of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
In retrospect, the only one
Get
that
the
I could
fuck
really
off my
tolerate-
show.
In retrospect, the only one I can tolerate is Spider-Man 2.
me
Yeah, that
too.
one's the best of the three.
Anymore, man. Like they were good for their time, but I think they're hard to go back.
Well, one was good for its time. Two still holds up. Three was never good for any time.
no,
No.
I don't think
Well,
Nah, man,
I-
3 was the best one of all of them.
Dude, like the only thing I like about those movies is
Yeah,
Kirsten
dude.
Dunst. Like she's a longtime crush.
Yeah,
Used to
but
call me.
yeah, but
Yeah,
see, in
she
the
was a
third one,
horrible Mary Jane, man.
Mm-hmm.
see in the third one, you get Kirsten Dunst and Bryce Dallas Howard.
yeah, that I'll take all day.
And she was a horrible Gwen Stacy. Is that who she was, Gwen Stacy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma Stone
Like,
was a good Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan of Kirsten Dunst in The Rain.
I'm a
yeah,
fan of.
yeah, man. Her nips showed through the shirt. It was great, dude.
Dude, she's
I'm a
like, the
fan of
perfect female
Kirsten
specimen.
Dunst in
She's
that
peak performance.
motherfucking
Yeah.
I'm turning Japanese video.
Like I kept.
Oh my
thinking-
God, Nick! I know, like that's where the obsession like really came to the forefront. Like it always been in the back of my mind. That turning Japanese video, I was like, holy shit!
And
that-
has
that's
anybody
something-
seen Kirsten Dunst
Yeah.
and what the fuck's her face? Shit, Jewel in the same space? Because they
Oh,
both got
dude.
that same fucked up Alaska tooth.
Really? Wow. I wonder if she's.
I don't care if she has meth mouth or not.
meth.
I'd wife it.
No, the only thing is every time I see the upside down kiss scene, I just keep thinking, dude, you should go a little lower and have her give you upside down blowjob.
Yeah, dude.
That was in the Axel Braun Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Triple X.
There you go.
Oh, my webbing.
He's like, what's the Roman numeral for 3 X's? How many movies? 30 movies?
Oh shit. That'd
So-
be awesome, though, dude.
Yeah, my judgment on this trailer was kind of fucking biased because I could give a shit about Tom Holland.
Dude, watch the first.
I can't
one.
believe you're hating on Tom Holland, dude. He's a great Spider-Man.
He's the best. He's the best
Spider-Man we've
Spider-Man.
ever had.
It is.
Yeah, I think he's wonderful.
He's the truest
Actually-
character, I think.
He does his own fucking stunts. He does his own shit most of the time. He's great.
Man, like I don't even give a shit about that aspect of like
Oh, I just-
actors or actresses.
I just think it's cool.
Oh, for sure. But like, you know, definitely, like he's definitely
Russ doesn't
the
even
better
do his
Spider-Man.
own stunts.
He
Fucking
is the-
Toby was the man.
He is the.
Nah,
Toby's a punk. He is the superior
bullshit.
Spider-Man.
I like
You
Tobey
see what I
Maguire
did
as
there?
well.
'Cause, you
I
know,
thought
I know how much
Tobey
you
Maguire
fans
did a good
want.
job. I just think Tom Holland is better. I mean, because I think they started it better. Spider-Man should have been Spider-Man longer in high school than the first movies, where it was like he was Spider-Man his senior year, boom, out of school. It's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
you know. Let's have him go to school for a little while. Let's have him be
And then like the fact that they made him like cut, like they buffed him up. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, come on.
Yeah, man. It's like, come on, dude.
Flexing in the mirror. Like,
yeah, that's
come
kind
on,
of what's
dude.
the fun about Spider-Man. Is he's like he's strong as shit, but he doesn't look it.
I ain't
cool.
ever seen a spider with an 8-pack, and I've killed many.
Yeah, how close did you get down to it? Because I know you're not a big fan of spiders.
Man, close enough just to try to look for a little spider 8-pack.
That's
Little
awesome,
spider.
dude.
I'm like, I kill a little spider. Where's your abs, bro?
Yeah, so I might Cody this, but whatever. I don't care. I don't know what it is. I really don't care about Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I don't care.
Yeah, you watch that first one.
Are you tired of this?
once a week.
Are you annoyed because this is like the third Spider-Man we've had, really? And like
I think it's that, and like it's just,
That is fair. Like I will definitely give that, because like whenever they announced that Spider-Man was going to be entering into the MCU fold, I was like, man, I hope they keep Andrew Garfield on, because like I liked Andrew Garfield more than I like Toby. And
absolutely.
I thought Garfield was awesome, man.
I liked the route that they took with him. Doing the Gwen Stacy thing, and like when he caught her, she snapped her neck, and like the whole the fan service there was great. But like, so they announced, when they announced that they weren't keeping him and it was going to be Tom Holland, I was like, man, I don't know about this cat. And then I saw him in Civil War, and I was like, this is Spider-Man. I hope that dude looks young forever. Like
Spider-Man that I want to see is the kid Spider-Man.
Yeah, like a younger Spider-Man. That's what I like. Anna said the problem she had with Andrew Garfield, I remember telling me this. She said she thought that Peter Parker should be like more of like a nerd, more dorkier, and not a lot less cool. And she thought Andrew Garfield portrayed him pretty cool. She thought he was like a cool guy, and I was like, yeah, I kind of
he was kind of like a hipster.
Yeah,
he was more of a take on the Ultimates, the Ultimate version of Spider-Man.
I told her.
Just throw it into the multiverse. He's another.
I'm just watching Charles hate on Zendaya in the chat.
Jesus, Charles.
Who's Zendaya?
MJ in the Tom Holland movies.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like,
Damn, dude.
I wish they'd give her the red hair. But other than that, like I think she's a solid MJ.
I think she's got the right attitude, dude. MJ's got to be a smart ass and just like
a firecracker.
Bad chick, you know what I mean? I think she nails that.
Hell, I mean, hair can be colored.
It bothered me. It bothered me a little bit in the first movie when we found out. Her name's not even Mary Jane, right? MJ
she goes by MJ.
Else.
Do they even say
right.
it?
Yeah, they gave her a name. It's like Michelle or something like that. But she goes by MJ, and I was a little frustrated with it because I was like, oh, that's not my MJ. That's
dude. Like I said, like
I'm sorry, though. I like her.
I'm fine with it. Like I feel like they made a good call there, because then all the stoners would have came out and like, yeah, Mary Jane, man, yeah. So like I'm cool with her not being Mary Jane Watson, but like calling her MJ, just put a little red dye in her hair, and it's good, man. Let it roll. Go with it.
I think they got the spirit of the character. So when you do that, I think some of like the cosmetic things can be forgiven.
That's a good point.
Except for Starfire looking like a $2 hooker.
I'm not
I'm not all about that.
Disgusted.
Don't get rusty.
all right, I think we killed this.
All right, are we ready to mangle something else? Let's do it.
I think so.
All right.
Mangle and strangle.
Endgame. We all synced it. It was a thing. It was a movie.
It was a film.
Here's where we mute
that for sure.
Brammer, because he's a hater.
So
easy. It's not a hater.
in my theater, they should have just taken all the seats out, because I don't think there was any real sitting down. Like, and like I saw it opening night, and so going and seeing it with a bunch of fans was
that shit's awesome, man. There's
dude, like there's a sense of like brotherhood there with like everybody in the audience.
whenever like people like stream them when like new movies like that, you are missing out. You're missing
Yeah,
out.
like the energy's electric in the theater, like on opening night like that.
And maybe
Like I'm not a big fan of huge crowds either, but like it was
either.
My hairs were standing up like all over my body the entire film.
Yeah, I mean, my experience, it was jam packed opening night, and the people were knowledgeable, and it's like these people might not be like necessarily comic book fans, and it's like maybe 5 years ago I would have been like, these people are all posers, but then it's like the more people that are into this nerd shit, the better it is for us and for everybody,
Yeah,
That's
like if they're in there enjoying themselves, man, I can't hate on that. That's awesome.
That's true.
That's awesome.
but I'm like, I'll be honest. Since I guess we can just kind of jump in real quick. I don't feel like we're gonna go through a whole like thing about it.
Oh, we are.
Well,
yeah,
I don't feel like I've done this once before, and we pretty much just like went through the movie essentially, like talking about it. But whenever they revealed Thor, where I was sitting in the theater, it's basically like a bachelorette party. I was sitting in the middle of Titty City, and I like whenever Thor came on screen after the 5-year gap, like I heard a lot of gasps and some like light crying, and like I jumped up and I just screamed, "Yeah!" because like effectively like I'm Thor now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried that, dude, and I got told I was like, a little ahead of myself there. But
yeah, but it's like I was just like, look, this is the strongest he's ever been. You may not like it, but this Thor is peak performance. Dad bod Thor, yeah, man. So like that was a really awesome, just like personal moment.
Well, hey, you guys, before we like, I guess, start the proper discussion, do you want to go through and just everybody give it like a out of 10, or do you just want to get into it?
We can do it out of 10. I don't care. Dakota, what'd you give it out of 10?
Oh man, I think it was like either a 9 or a 9.5.
Okay. Dalton,
I've got to give it a 10.
a 10. Okay.
nice.
Josh,
My initial out of the theater reaction was a 6.5, but I have since revised it to an 8 after further reflection.
After further review,
Yeah, I give it a solid 8.0.
Okay.
okay. Rob,
Oh, it's solid fucking 10 all day long.
oh Lord. Russ,
6.5.
Ooh.
Sam,
9.5.
Jesus Christ,
Nick.
Nick,
5.
Woo! Nick, we're gonna have fun.
5 out of 10.
Dude, someone hated the Carol Manverse haircut.
Yo, that was the ultimate
I'll be honest, dude. I'll be honest. I hated that look for her in the comics, and I hate it in that live action.
Yo, that is the ultimate Karen haircut.
Yeah, it is.
She was
trying
trying to speak to everybody's manager.
Dude,
Like,
she's the one that wants to talk to the fucking CEO.
A friend of mine, she's she's like super invested into Captain Marvel and Brie Larson, and it's understandable. Like that's the first real like lead, has her own movie character, blah blah blah, feminism, etc.
Wonder Woman.
Well, as far as Marvel goes, yeah. So, anyways, like she was just like, I love that haircut, and I was like, you're dumb. Like, I didn't say that, but I was just like, no, that haircut looks like shit. And sorry to everyone who likes short hair, Carol Danvers. It just looked like that's not my Carol Danvers. And it's like they even I saw someone comment that was just like, oh, she's had short hair for years now in the comics, and I was like, well, someone stopped reading in like a year ago.
Recent Marvel
like
now. Because it's Captain Marvel. I mean, she was in the Avengers like through all of Bendis's run from like 2004 up until Marvel Now. She didn't have that hair till like Marvel Now, right?
She had it in All New, All Different. That's when she got it.
Yes, that's a long.
And it's like up until the most recent Avengers run with Jason Aaron, like there was an issue where it was short for like the first like 5 issues, I think, and then like issue number 6 it was long again, just out of nowhere.
Even that costume is Not like
That's it's all new, all different. Like that's
think of the Marvel, or when I think of Captain Marvel, I think of like the black thing with the yellow stuff on it.
And the red sash
Yeah,
that she had.
That's
she still has the red sash, but yeah, like or
Yeah,
in
that was-
the books now at least.
That was her outfit for
Ever.
20 years at least.
Years.
Yeah.
that's where I was introduced to her. So and she was
Well,
a
shit,
badass.
it ain't been 20 years, man, because she was fucking Warbird.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
And that was what? West Coast Avengers?
No, that was like fucking Heroes
I'm
Return.
talking about.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
And that Heroes Return, that was 20 years ago.
Okay, and then all the way up through fucking the entire Busiek run afterwards, Mighty
That's what I was
Avengers.
saying. She's had that look for years.
Yeah, I think you guys are agreeing with each other.
No, I'm
Y'all
not.
are agreeing with each other.
I'm
It's
not
not
agreeing
gonna-
with him.
You guys agree. You sound like you're arguing with each other.
They do.
I don't know. I
love
don't
it.
know. I don't know what he's trying to argue.
I'm trying to say that this look has been probably around maybe for like 10 years, not 20.
Wait, are you talking about? Wait,
No, I was talking about the classic black with the fucking yellow bolt and the red sash. That was what she had for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This-
I
this
thought
new
you.
look
I
is
thought you.
like-
Were, I thought you were talking about like full mom suit and fucking.
Full
This
mom.
no, this new look has been around for like maybe 5.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Maybe 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
2013 on, and that's it.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know. She's got like the mohawk, dude, when she puts her helmet, when she has her mask on. That's kinda
Yeah.
cool.
Devoted enough time to
That's
that.
that's very tight. I mean, that's very.
Ooh,
Sorry.
that's a slur.
dude, it's
Dude,
so
I
it's so
slipped,
funny
sorry.
because like
What did
I
you
was looking at
just
some
say?
I was looking
I
at
did.
comments how you know like basically lesbians like all cheered when they saw the short hair. I was like I hate to break I was like I hate to break some hearts, but she's got eyes for Rhodey and less eyes for Scarlet Witch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, indeed.
Well,
Y'all are probably too young to know when she had fucking eyes for Korvac.
For
I'm
what?
definitely
Okay.
I was gonna say, you know, what you were talking about though. You should have seen Twitter for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They were like, yeah, she's one of us. You know, the LGBTQ community.
Yeah,
They were like,
we
but-
claim her.
and
A
people were
fucking
like,
haircut, not a sexual preference.
Listen,
yeah.
right. Give me a break, dude.
And that's what people say is like she just wears her hair like that, but she dates Rhodey in the comics.
And if you notice in the movie, like you know, like
They
they're
had
like
that
after the
little
5
moment.
years, they definitely had that moment. She was like, "Rhodey, stay safe." You know what I mean? So like, that's
Mhm.
definitely something going forward. And I would love to see Don Cheadle more involved in it. Like I guess in like Captain Marvel 2 or whatever going forward with that. I'd like to see them expand upon that.
Yeah,
I wanna
yeah,
see-
it should
That's
be
what
like,
kinda-
you're paralyzed from the waist down, but you got these little manipulators. What them hips do?
That's kind of like, and that's kind of like what started like the like the reasoning behind like Civil War 2. Granted, spoiler alert: there's no more Tony Stark in the landscape to have the Civil War 2.
Right.
But that's a story I'd love to see incorporated somehow. It's
Well-
like I love a lot of or I say a lot, some of the aspects of All New All Different, because like you get Standoff at Pleasant Hill, which Sam Wilson was, you know, Captain America at that point. That's when
Yep.
Steve Rogers became young again, and you know
Yep.
then you know later on you had Civil War 2 when like some of that like Hail Hydra stuff was going on with Steve Rogers, and that led into Secret Empire. Secret Empire, like that's what ultimately I want to see on the big screen next. I know a lot of people want to get the old Secret Wars, you know,
I
next.
would
But
love Secret Wars.
It's not gonna be
I feel like
any of
they are
that.
going the all new, all different route. Just like I said, Sam Wilson getting the shield, Carol Manvers. You know, like I feel like we're gonna see Amadeus Cho pop up in the Miss Marvel movie, like maybe with Kamala Khan. Like,
Yeah,
so-
Kamala Khan. That
Yeah,
would
so
be
we're
cool.
getting all this all new, all different stuff. And like me personally, I'm not
I'm fine
emotionally
with it.
invested in that. I'm cool, but it's just like I will re-enter the interest field whenever X-Men gets introduced.
Well,
Because
Yeah.
right now I just don't give a shit about anything else going forward. Like they
Here's-
took away two of my favorite, two of the big three are gone. They're
Well,
out
here-
of play, I should say.
Here's the thing, man. You also got to realize that they didn't introduce the Skrulls and Captain Marvel for nothing.
Yeah,
That's true. You guys gotta
Absolutely.
do something more
So
to that.
I think Secret Invasion is coming.
Could be.
Okay, for sure. Yeah.
That's a great story. That'd be
I
cool,
feel like we're just gonna get a slew of Avengers teams.
Well, they've already said they're doing the Silver Surfer origin too. Didn't they finally get?
No, they didn't say they're.
Yeah, dude, Russ, what do you got to say about that, man? You
They
have a
didn't
lot.
say they're
You
doing
know
a
what I
Silver
wanna say
Surfer
about that.
origin.
Complete waste
They
of fucking
said
time.
they said they wanted to develop a Silver Surfer movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all they said.
Something that I think they should do going forward is whoever they decide the next big bad is gonna be, I want an origin movie for them. Thanos, realistically, should have had a movie over Captain Marvel. I liked Captain Marvel. I thought it was a good introduction movie. It followed the formula of all the other introduction movies, and I've liked all of them. But Thanos should have had a movie.
Hey,
They could have
Brian,
done
In
the
my
same.
opinion.
Yo,
they-
Brent asked a question in the chat about, or said something about Tony. Without Tony, Spider-Man's going back to the pajamas. That kind of brings up a little thought here. Tony is gone, but we still have Rhodey as War Machine. They just obviously during this movie showed the rescue armor for Pepper. You think they would pull in what they did with that girl in the comics now, the new chick?
Riri Williams, Ironheart.
Yeah, Ironheart.
No, I'll be honest. No, because like she wasn't that popular and isn't
No,
that popular.
she's-
I think they're gonna do
go to Harley.
Iron Lad. It's gonna be Iron Lad, yeah.
That was the kid from.
And he was at
Iron
Tony's
Man
funeral.
3, and he was at Tony's
Mhm.
funeral.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that kid's
They
I like him. So.
but you know, he and Pepper were married. She owns the company, so it's not like his tech and his money's not around.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
and-
So
and Pepper
he's-
is just as wicked smart as he is.
Well, just not armor. smart.
She's got a business acumen that he didn't have.
Yes,
Right.
I think
Which
I
is
think
why
the,
he was so reliant upon her. Now,
I think the
technical
Harley kid.
aspects-
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say the technical aspects. I think that's going to fall a little bit to him. I think he's going to come in an intern or something.
Yeah, I feel like because again, like he was, your friend the mechanic, and he was like, I'm a mechanic, and Tony was like, I'm a mechanic too. So I think there were a lot of seeds sown for that, and maybe they won't, maybe for a time he'll be Iron Lad, maybe eventually he will become Iron Man, maybe it'll be him and Carol Danvers that butt heads, for a potential Civil War 2. There's a lot of possibilities. Like they can wrap it in, but like.
I don't see them doing Civil War 2, man. They already crippled Rhodey in the fucking movies.
Well, I think he died. He died in
He
Civil War
dies
2,
in
didn't he?
Civil War 2.
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah,
in Civil War 2.
but I mean, in Civil War, he was fucking crippled. So I mean, are you
Well,
gonna
still
you gonna cripple him and kill him?
Well,
I mean,
honestly, I think so. Like,
here's the thing. That's pretty much the order that it's working out for me. So,
but like that's another thing, man. Like I get Robert Downey Jr. wanted this to be his exiting strategy in game and all that, but for like just not having a Tony Stark in universe, it throws a wrench in things to where I'm just not super interested. And it's not like, I mean, they could have recast, they could have recast and I would have been fine. I think a lot of people would have been fine because I feel it's the character that we love as much as the actor that played it.
Not in the movie, man. Tony
not in the
Stark has
movie,
become
dude.
synonymous with that. Fucking
Yeah, he's become synonymous with the role now. I think that it
And that's, like I said, that's all well and good. Like, kind of going back to the Far From Home thing, we do have this possibility, this multiversal possibility, that we could see, again, another another Tony Stark from an alternate timeline, blah
like
blah
an
blah.
Ultimates version of Stark.
Sure, absolutely. And I feel like they're gonna want to give it a rest for a while. Like I said, I think they're gonna want to focus on these all new, all different Marvel characters, like Carol Danvers as the quote unquote leadership, with Kamala Khan. We know she's getting her movie as Miss Marvel. They're doing I feel like we're getting a Champions movie.
Now that Professor Hulk's got permanent arm fucked uppery, perfect time to bring in Amadeus Cho.
Fuck Professor Hulk too. Fuck that shit.
Dude,
that shit was done
I was-
so fucking cornily.
I was fine with it.
It was
fine
done
with Professor
so
Hulk.
bad. They turned the two most powerful Avengers into fucking jokes.
Dude, with that, the
Yes,
only
they
thing that-
did.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
Nick, I'm gonna agree and disagree with you. They turned
Yeah.
Hulk into a joke, but Thor was still very much a heavy hitter.
No,
Like-
dude,
Well,
Thor was
come on,
what they did with Thor was fucking genius, though, because that was 5 years of depression and despair. And
They made him all
agony.
father. They made him all father Thor. Like that's
No.
what I got. That's what I gathered from it.
They made him drinking his fucking sorrows away to
Yes.
They
the
made
point
him
of
a
self-destruction.
That's-
it was,
That's what the all fathers do. They drink themselves into sorrow.
it was just a punchline, dude. They just made him
Yeah,
a punchline, a walking
yeah.
punchline. That's all
They made
did.
him. They made him a walking punchline
Sure.
until he grabbed Stormbreaker and Mjolnir and brought the motherfucking pain.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was cool. I
Like
give you that.
whenever
And he
grabbed
almost
them both,
died
we got a
anyway.
we got a proper Viking Thor, dude.
Yeah,
Good
with the braid
God.
and everything.
Fuck that.
Like-
Yeah,
Thor.
up until that point though, I was really disappointed.
There
in
was
how they
no
handled
reason
Thor.
for him to flex his muscles though.
And then this
Exactly.
motherfucker is gonna be in Guardians probably now,
Yeah.
where he's gonna be
I'm cool
more
with
of
it.
a
Like, I feel
fucking
like it should have
joke.
been Valkyrie. I feel like it should have been Valkyrie for the quote unquote as Guardians of the Galaxy, just like in the book.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm cool with it being Thor because Hemsworth wants to keep playing Thor and he's young enough to do it for another decade. Keep it rolling. He's the last of the big three left. Like that's what has me hanging on. That's what has me hanging on as Hemsworth.
Let's hope he gets his like 6-pack back, dude.
And let's
They've been letting him like that's another thing. I read that like to my understanding they gave him a lot more freedom in terms of how he wanted to portray his character in both
Yeah.
Ragnarok and Infinity War and Endgame. So that's the direction he wanted
They-
to take, and I thought it was genius.
and they should fucking take all that creative control fucking away from him.
Listen,
Oh, Nick,
here's-
stop being a hater.
Nah, man,
There you go,
I can't stand that shit. And then they try to make it like a fucking
Oh, yeah,
PTSD fucking thing, and it's like this dude has been around for 1,000 years. He's been
seen
going.
so
He's been
much
going
shit.
through shit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
He has, but he's
this
won
last
every
if this
single
last
fight.
if this
He has
last
won every single
if this last fucking 6-7 years or whatever fucking broke him, come
Dude, it
the
wasn't the
fuck
same.
on.
Nick.
Dude.
Okay, look.
Oh,
Let me look at it from this standpoint. He's for however many thousands of years, he's won every single fight. He's been top
1500
dog.
years.
1,500
He
years, he's been
hasn't-
top
he
dog.
hasn't-
And he loses this one, and it's a catastrophic loss because
Trillions
he fucked,
of people,
You know,
because of he didn't act sooner, trillions of people died. He took all that. He shouldered all that burden. I get why he's down. I get why he's depressed. I just didn't
But you
like
guys,
the dad
he
bod
didn't-
version
Nah.
of him.
But he didn't win
But-
everything.
Yeah, so
He lost- he
so
lost.
basic
Okay,
so
but this is a
basically
fight
he
that
fails.
lost Where half
He-
of all existence, period, was wiped out.
So it's
this
all
is a
on his
loss.
shoulders.
Dude,
He
watches
He
his
views it.
entire-
His character views it as that. Yes, exactly.
It's-
He thinks he's responsible. That's why he was so
Dude.
down.
I mean,
So
like
that's
you see
why
it from the first
destroyed.
from the first fight where they got Thanos, you know, at the beginning of the movie. He
Mhm.
came in, cut that motherfucker's arm off, let him speak 3 sentences, and chopped his fucking head off. He was like, you know, like that was just where he was mentally, and like
Yeah,
the
and
fact
they're
that there was
like,
no,
what
like
was
there was
that?
no fixing it. There was no fixing it. Like that's
Right.
gonna
And
fucking
he
depress
killed the
anybody.
guy that did
And
it.
they were like, you know, what was that? He's like, I went for the head this time.
See,
Yeah,
know.
and he just walked away. He walked away.
Yeah.
I-
So
I
why the
read
fuck?
some-
So why the fuck after he kills Thanos is he fucking all
Because
fucking?
it didn't.
Because
work.
it didn't
because
mean a
it's-
goddamn thing, and that's why.
It was just all in vain.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
right.
so he didn't get revenge for Loki and everybody else that
That
died.
wasn't about Loki. That
Will
wasn't a
you
goddamn
shush
bit
so I
about
could
Loki.
actually get a
It
fucking
wasn't-
point
it
out?
wasn't even about really like he just
I'm
wasn't
about to
able
start
to fix it.
muting
He wasn't able to
motherfuckers.
fix it.
Yeah, like he couldn't do anything with all of his power.
But
Like,
you guys don't get it.
He's
He's
a-
already had. Y'all, I understand what you're saying. I know he had this catastrophic loss, but Thor has already been through catastrophic loss. He saw a lot of his people slaughtered, and
Here's-
Ragnarok.
Yeah, but this goes above and beyond.
Oh my god!
Something I would like to bring up, and I brought it up on Verbally Challenged with Jose. So ever since the first Thor, right, or really ever since Dark World, when he first lost his mom, like it was nonstop loss for him. He loses his
Mhm.
mom. He thought he lost his brother. Then he loses his girlfriend, finds out he didn't lose his brother. Then he loses his dad. Then he's got to kill his fucking sister. And then he loses his brother for good. Like, all that shit happened
and
back
his
to
best
back.
friends.
And his best friends. And
And
he
half
had
of his
no
race.
he had no time
Again.
and yeah, he had no time to process any grief.
Yeah.
When all that shit happens back to back to back like that, and you don't have time to process the grief, well, in 5 years you've got that time to process it, and I feel like that's why they focus so much whenever him and Rocket had to go get the ether, that like they focus so much on him talking with his mom and like her explaining, like, you know, I know you're not my son, but you're still worthy, blah blah blah, like it's gonna be okay. And like, you know, he grabbed the hammer, or he called for it rather, and he's like, "Yeah, I am still worthy." So
we're gonna have to disagree. Agree to disagree because it makes no sense.
it makes no sense.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is a disorder of the mind where your fight or flight reflex is pushed to the limit. That's what post-traumatic stress disorder is. So it makes you indecisive. It doesn't make you a whiny fucking bitch who fucking goes through and has a chance to redeem himself, and then fucking, oh, I'm having a panic attack. I need beer.
I wouldn't call it PTSD.
Settle down, Dr. Phil.
I wouldn't call it PT. I would never call it PTSD, but I would definitely call it depression.
Yeah, he's definitely going through those 5 stages. At the beginning, we see him in anger. Like, he is pissed.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I mean, he cuts the fucking guy's head off, dude.
Yeah. Well, not only
yeah,
that,
good.
No hesitation
he grabs Hulk by the shirt, and he's like, "Don't fucking say that name in my house." And like Hulk's like, "Please take your hand off me." You know, like. So but we see like Dalton, that's a great point. But like I said, man, like a lot of people say it doesn't make sense. Like, dude, that's bullshit. You look at his character from Dark World to the, you know, when he cuts Thanos' head off, he had 0 time to process anything other than trying to fix what was broken.
You know what I think it is, Dakota, is certain, like, we have, all of us are going to put some of these characters up on a pedestal somewhat. And I think of Thor as just too overwhelmingly powerful and too much of a badass to ever get depressed.
No,
that's exactly the reason why.
It's because he's got such a support system around him, though. Like, and when all of that's taken away,
but he's not immortal. He's not a human. He's a god. Yeah. And I just don't see him. I have a hard time buying him going into depression where he's drinking all day. He's eating crappy food, and he's cussing kids out online.
Russ, he lost everyone that he knew for 1,500 years.
I know.
Thor can't have feelings.
Yeah,
no, like that's not saying that Thor can't have feelings. It's not saying that.
Not like that. Not like that.
I feel like, I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like the pedestal that he's on was the correct pedestal. Like, you know, I loved seeing that aspect. Like, honestly, I felt like it was as much of a kind of like nod to the Thor that thinks that he's not worthy all the time, because he's always questioning his worth in the comics. You know, am I really worthy? You know, there's one day I fear I'm not going to be able to lift this hammer. You know what I mean? Like, all that shit.
Just recently, since Original Sin, that was never a big thing. Thor knew he was worthy.
But dude, like, Original Sin is where I feel Thor was more than just a 2-dimensional, strong guy.
That's where I'm at.
Okay, now let's go beyond Thor and let's talk about the overwhelming, obnoxious, where they were like just making obnoxious joke. Here's the thing. We lost half the universe. Let's put yourself in this world, okay? We lost half the universe. People lost their loved ones. People lost their friends. Everything, right? It's been a big depression for 5 years. These motherfuckers are coming in and they got jokes. They're cracking jokes. They're all, yeah. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be somber. Stop making. It's like I think there's too much comedy. There was too much trying to be comedic moments in it.
See, that's the thing. 5 years has passed, and then they have a little bit of hope. Typically, like after a 5-year down, and you start to see it. There's an upswing. Like you get a little more positive, and like the old gang was back together, right? Like
I
that's
guess.
that's
I
how I
don't know.
looked at it, you know.
I,
And
I,
like,
I felt like the comedic moments were really, really hard pressed. They were just really
dude,
trying to. I was like,
when
come on,
Nebula
guys.
when Nebula lands and tells Rhodey to watch out, there's an idiot in the landing bay. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fine, but
so
not
hard
turning
at
your
that.
two biggest powerhouses into jokes.
That's what it is. I mean, Hulk. I couldn't stand Hulk. I don't like what they do with Hulk either. You know, it's just
Hulk didn't even have to be in that movie at all. You
Yeah,
could
he
have cut.
did.
You could have cut Hulk out of that movie and been fine. Everything that he did could have been done by another character in that movie. Hulk's arc was useless.
Well, I mean, I guess Tony's the one that figured out the time thing, not Hulk.
That's right.
Hulk Foley figured it out, but Tony.
Hulk had to snap his fingers. Like,
So Captain Marvel
That's-
couldn't have done that.
I don't like. And that's another thing.
She's
like,
supposed to
while
be
we're-
more powerful than
while we're
all
there,
of them.
while we're on it, I think that's bullshit. Like, I know that's what they want to go with, but like, I don't think she's supposed to be that. Like, her being that Mary Sue Strong, I think really detracts from any real character development she could potentially have in the future. And I did get a sense of that, and I got the biggest sense of that whenever she was going toe to toe with Thanos. Granted, like, I think she could hold her own, but I don't think she could overpower him. Like, I don't feel like that's.
I don't know.
Hey, well, that's what they're putting in that movie. She is the strongest Avenger.
That's why I gave it what I gave it, a 9 out of 10. That's why for me it wasn't a perfect 10. You know, it was. I mean, she was there just as a plot device of Mary Sue. You know, like the fact that he had to grab the Power Stone just to knock her back. Like I said, man, I don't. To me, that's just overpowering her just because like they want her to be the new face. That's all. That's all.
They
it
did
boils
it
down
in
to.
Civil War too. Also,
In Civil War 2.
yeah, she laid the smackdown
yeah,
on
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah, and I
So
don't.
they've
like,
just
yeah.
been they have been given this character history, and they've said the Russo brothers said she is the most powerful Avenger there is.
That's
Hulk didn't
Okay,
need
like,
to
that-
be
that's another- that's another thing.
Hulk didn't need to be in that movie whatsoever.
right.
There-
and then, like,
there was
they
no-
said that- they
there
said
was
that
no
she,
point
you
in
know, she
Hulk.
was helping other planets or whatever, and that's all well and good. That's fine. But like I said, man, like that's where my issues come from. It like when you make a character that's that strong, you know, where there isn't someone they can tango with, and like maybe you think it's going to be over for them. I think that becomes like a horseshit moment. But that's me. Like that's my deal. But I still wouldn't necessarily call Hulk useless. He wasn't Hulk. He was definitely definitely Bruce Banner in Hulk skin.
Yeah, that was more the thing.
It aggravated me.
That was
so
the whole
much,
point of
dude.
his character with that one, though, too.
Right.
They still needed him for his abilities, for his problem-solving abilities and thinking abilities.
Well,
Because
And the
initially,
fact that the stones emitted
Tony-
gamma radiation.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, Tony wasn't around at first. He wasn't on board to help him. Hulk was helping him get it up and running, and then Tony showed up to help him fix everything.
And everything that
they
Hulk
still
and-
needed him.
No, they
everything Hulk
didn't.
did
No, they
become-
didn't. Because
everything-
as soon as fucking Tony showed up, he had it all set out. He figured it out at his house on the fucking lake. They didn't need fucking Hulk. They could have just waited a day.
And had Tony come in and say, "All right, I figured it out. Let's do it."
Hulk was useless in that movie. Anything that Hulk did in that movie, another character could have done and done better.
I agree with you, just because I think it's the way they wrote him. They
Yeah,
just wrote
and then
him
like
really
Professor
that's-
Hulk,
that's-
Professor Hulk in the comics, he's not some fucking hippie. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know, fuck
Hey
that
there,
shit.
little person.
Yeah, fuck all that shit.
I get it, dude. Like, I get it. I get it. Like me, I was fine with it. I'm not a huge Hulk fan like you though either, so I can see where you would be upset. Like,
Yeah.
I like the Hulk, but I've never liked the Hulk enough to like pick
Read
up his
an
books.
individual Hulk comic.
Yes,
Me.
yes. Like I have
I don't
always
give a
loved him.
shit.
I've always loved him as that like additional character, you know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me as much. I mean, he was there as another body to try to get another stone.
All right, Rob, you seem to have seem to be chomping at the bit at me and Nick kind of pummeling it. No, Rob's like, oh, fucking. Blah. So all right, Rob, what did you think about this thing? What did you think about this movie?
Oh, about the Professor Hulk thing, man.
Yeah.
I get where he's coming from. They needed him for the gamma radiation from the stones.
Okay.
And they needed, like, Hulk has that regenerative ability and all that shit, so any damage he would take on from the stones should be able to be reconstructed through that ability.
Mm-hmm.
And he did actually manage the first snap. He got everybody back.
I got
Okay.
you, but
So-
you don't think they could have put that gauntlet on somebody, on another character?
Yeah, but who else was good? I mean, they put
Captain
it on,
Marvel.
I think honestly,
She
I think
wasn't
I
there
think
though.
I honestly
That,
I
but
honestly
that's
think
what, but that's
Thor-
what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. There was
I honestly think
absolutely
Thor could have taken it. If I'm being real, I think Thor could have taken it.
Thor
and he
could
was
have
just
taken
like,
it
I
too.
got this.
And the thing, Chuck brought up in the chat that Hulk figured out that the fucking stones need to be put back at the right time. Any character that was in that situation could have had that same fucking theory.
Yeah,
I
but
think
with-
Hulk was the only one worried about it, though. Everyone else was just like, "Let's get everyone back and fuck everything else."
Well,
Hulk was
she
just
was,
like, "No, we got
yeah, but Tilda Swinton wasn't gonna give anybody that stone.
And then Thor in that mindset, was he really going to be able to?
No,
get
that's
everything
right. I think physically Thor could have handled it, but mentally, I think he would have fucked that snap up.
Or you could have had Thor do the snap, have it if he's not supposedly not as strong as Hulk or whatever, and couldn't have done it. There's his fucking end. There's his arc.
Yeah, but they're not trying to end Helmsworth's Thor character.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a smart thing either. But like we're going back and talking about the Russos. They are the directors, but they're not the writers. And that kind of brings me to another thing. Before we get into like my personal favorite part, we're gonna speed up ahead. The old man Steve Rogers thing. And like this is an issue like me and Jose we're going back and forth on it pretty big.
It's not hold on a second. It's not bullshit, Chuck. Hulk and Tony were not the only ones who understood how timelines work. They had all that exposition as soon as Tony came back. So all the Avengers knew how the timelines work. And that's how they went back in time in the first place.
They knew, but they didn't really. They don't understand the quantum level that Tony and Banner understand.
So Scott didn't.
Scott didn't know jack shit about the quantum realm
He
except
had
that
a
it existed
general
and how
idea,
somebody
but he
else
didn't
did
have
it.
full
He
understanding.
knew that he was chilling for 5 hours. That's all he knew.
Yeah, you got to remember, Scott didn't do anything with the Pym particles, or he didn't have half the understanding.
He
of that
wasted
shit.
some
just
of them.
went, well, yeah, that was all Hank Pym, dude. That wasn't Scott Lang.
That's true. He didn't really have the knowledge of it. I know what you're saying. Ant-Man's kind of a dum-dum. Anyway,
He had like he brought the theory to them because he was like, dude, I just been gone for 5 hours.
Yeah.
That's when everything clicked.
Right.
right. Wait,
He had a base level. Being a mechanical engineer, he had a base level, like a rough draft version of.
He had the gist of it.
Work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did not understand quantum physics on the level that Banner or Tony did.
The thing that I
Okay,
wanted
so
to expand,
instead of fucking Scott going to whatever fuck stone he did, they could have had Tony go and talk to the fucking Ancient One, which would have been good because he was the one that had the most interaction with Doctor Strange in the first place. So there's a million different things that they could have done. And so basically, if you take that movie and cut out the middle hour and just put the first and last hour together, that movie would have been so much better.
well, like one thing one thing that I will agree is that the final hour was the best hour.
Oh,
100%. 100%. But
bad.
before we get into that though, like a lot of people and like it's been brought up, like the Russo brothers, like they're the directors, they're not the writer.
Right.
You know, they're not the writers. Like anything the directors say, I take that with like an ounce of like complete and utter horse shit because all they did was make it look fucking awesome. Like there was the deal with old man Steve Rogers at the end, and they were like, well, if it's alternate timelines, how is he there? Blah blah blah. And that's what me and Jose had gone back and forth on a lot. And I had a lot of time to think about it. And I even saw the writers' response to that because the Russos were like, blah blah blah, alternate timeline. But it's like, man, fuck you. You directed the movie. Like, thank you for doing such a good job, but fuck you when it comes to story. But that like Steve Rogers could have completely coexisted in that past timeline because he still would have been there and lived his life. Like he traveled back from whatever 2024 or 2023. Yeah, he traveled back from 2023. He didn't travel back from 2012. He still would have been part of all the events that went down in New York and so on and so forth. The only thing the only thing that really got changed was there was no Loki, and in theory, no Thanos. But the snap undid the Thanos snap. So anything after that is just let's explain it in the way of Cable. Just a time. What is it? Misplacement or time?
That's
displacement?
the thing. It's dimensional displacement.
Yeah.
There's an excellent video that actually explains how solid the time travel is on a channel called Because Science, done by Kyle Hill, and it perfectly breaks down the time travel using quantum mechanics. And he actually said a year ago that was the only plausible way, and they broke it down. I highly suggest everybody watch it.
Was the time displacement, which I call that the Cable method because he's displaced out of time, yada yada yada. But like I saw a lot of people had the issue with that, and that's essentially how the writer had kind of come out and said, this is how Steve Rogers being in this current reality, and it isn't an alternate reality, works. When the Russo brothers said it was just an alternate reality, like don't hang on to the words of the directors because they're just two really good Michael Bays at this point. If we're being real. That's just kind of what I wanted to say to it, about it.
Okay, basically, remember. Okay, Captain America goes. He ends up frozen in ice for like 70 years, whatever, right?
Yeah. Right.
So basically, so he went back, and what he did was, there's basically two Captain Americas. One's frozen in ice, and then he's back there with Carter, getting there.
Beating cheeks.
Yeah, he's tearing that shit up, right? So, and living his life with her, right? So he gets to have that life with her. And
he could have easily stayed to the shadows. Like Steve's Steve's good about like that whole,
Right, and why
that's exactly what he did too.
Yeah. And the ending for Steve brings up a whole moral quandary there because of the way the time travel works. So that means that Peggy had her life with her other husband. And Steve just comes in and decides, "Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and take her."
Maybe.
In theory, though, Peggy's other husband, like she would clearly keep that from what would be current day Steve Rogers during the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. He goes to see her, and he found out she was married.
It's a branch timeline.
Well, no, it's not. I don't think that it's a branch timeline.
Well, then they just threw out the logic that they explained in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, how do we know that husband that she was hiding from Steve in Winter Soldier
wasn't just old Steve himself?
Right. Exactly. Like I don't think we saw wasn't there a glare on the picture of them or something like that too?
Yeah.
So the thing is it's not a branch timeline because if it was a branch timeline, old man Steve wouldn't have shown up at the end of this movie.
No, he absolutely would have. He lived his past out in an alternate reality in a post 1945 with her. After he returned all of the other stones, and he had enough Pym particles to come back at the end. So after she lived out her life, he lived out his life, and she's gone. That's when he came back.
I feel like that's the bullshit Russo explanation, and I don't buy it.
That's not the bullshit Russo explanation because he had the quantum GPS beacon. That's what he left with. That was the only way he could get back. So when he came back, he was the Hulk tracking him, and the Hulk says he overshot his destination. Where's he at? And then he appears on the bench because he overshot and came out a little bit further, and then they see him.
So he created an alternate reality, which he was warned against doing. And we're not going to see. And we're not
reality. He didn't create an alternate reality. He was already in an alternate reality. And then once he returned the stone, everything reverted back to the way it was supposed to be in that reality when he returned it to the point that it was supposed to be.
The way the Ancient One explained it was that removing a stone created the alternate the branch, so to speak.
Yes.
But if the stones were all in place, then this is the writer's explanation, was that if like as long as the stones are all in place, everything will fold, unfold accordingly.
Well, then why did he return Mjolnir?
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, it's not his.
Mm-hmm.
He said for obvious reasons.
That's not an obvious reason.
Dude, that's the kind of guy Steve is. Like, he's not just gonna hang on to the hammer because the hammer doesn't belong to him.
Right.
And neither did the
That's why he
life.
didn't
And
hang
neither
on to-
and neither did the life that he stole from another dude.
He didn't steal
that's
a life
the-
from another dude.
Yes, he did.
Think about it. If
No,
Peggy-
because the other dude was him all along.
No, it
Yes.
wasn't.
But Peggy
Yes.
couldn't tell him that when she saw him in Winter Soldier.
Absolutely.
Because that would have fucked up the timeline.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Josh. I rest my case.
Wait, but you guys
That's some head canon.
You're saying it created.
It's
an
not
alternate
headcanon.
reality.
It is head
But-
canon.
But it can't be
That's
an
not
alternate
headcanon.
reality, because if Peggy was hiding him in Winter Soldier, then that means he was in that reality. Then he was in
Right.
that reality. So it couldn't have been
Yeah.
an alternate reality.
Well,
That makes no sense. It couldn't have been a branch off.
And he would have told
When-
her everything that went on. And how
here's
he
the
came
thing.
back.
This isn't Back to the Future shit. Because that shit doesn't apply.
They
This
literally
is-
explained it that way too.
Yeah. They even said it. That's bullshit. Don't even think that way. And I think that's that's how you've always seen time travel work in movies. This is when they go back to a specific point in time,
Off then.
they're in an alternate reality. They are no longer in the MCU prime.
That's not true.
That's-
That's not what. That's
But-
not what it
but-
said
but-
at all.
But
It
that
said
can't be
what they
because-
did. What they did was said that the timeline is a straight line. When you took a stone out, and if it wasn't returned at the exact time that it was taken, that would create an alternate reality. But
No, they're creating the alternate reality when they step out. When they return, if they don't return it, then it will be a permanent branch. But by returning it, it closes that branch.
Yes.
I'm sorry if I'm trying to explain it. I mean,
No, I understand
you
what
don't
you're
like I'm trying to explain it. Don't get mad at me, dude. It's
No,
just
I-
how it
I'm
is.
not mad. I'm not mad at you. It's just that what you guys are saying doesn't make sense.
But that's
It makes
because you're
perfect
looking at it from the
sense.
No, it
explanation
doesn't.
of the Russos. That's because you're looking at it from their
Okay.
explanation of it.
Let's look at another example of this scenario. When Loki leaves with the Tesseract, everything still happens the way it originally panned out. He created a alternate timeline, so this whole thing with old Cap and being two Caps at the same time doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But it
Wait.
like the only thing that
No.
doesn't make sense is Loki is alive and Thanos didn't come to Earth to
No,
snap.
because having two Rogers at the same time, it'd be just like Back to the Future.
No, it wouldn't because you saw one kick the other one's ass.
Yeah.
It was already established in the movie that there can be two Rogers at the same time.
Right.
He
Yes.
But
says, I
the-
can do this all day, son.
Right.
And he's
but-
like, yeah, I know.
And like I said, I think there was. He had went back. He lived it, and he was living his life with Peggy.
He was
and-
Peggy's hidden
and He
husband.
was Peggy's hidden husband. So
Yes.
I mean, there were two Rogers in the timeline in the reality.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
So
but
it was
The only thing
one
the
of
only
them
thing
is a popsicle from 1945 until 2010.
yes.
The other one is aging because the super soldier serum only lasts so long. Once it wore off, he began to age more rapidly.
makes sense. I
That
mean,
man's
he's-
going to be an old man, and he's probably not going to live
Well,
under the name of Steven
wasn't-
Rogers.
Right. He wasn't frozen in ice to preserve him. Be preserved. He's living a life for that 70 years.
Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
he's the future
Right.
Cap gone back. The other Cap is
Right,
still on
exactly.
ice. Yeah,
Right,
that-
but then when Cap gets stalled from ice, though, old Cap is still alive.
yeah,
He's lived that life. He's still around. So then there's two of them existing in the same.
Yes.
and
time
that's
period.
perfectly fine.
And
And
so
that's
that is-
that's
and
completely
so that also means that
But that is some
Steve
Back to the Future shit.
Steve is a morally broken person.
That means
Because that means that Steve saw everything that was going on during that timeline and just sat on his ass with Peggy
no,
and
because-
didn't
No,
do
because he knew
a
it was
damn
over.
thing about it.
It's an alternate reality.
It can't
Well,
be an
he-
alternate reality
That's the thing,
because
I don't- I-
because
it's not-
the
to me,
time
it's not
stone was
alternate
put
reality.
back where it was
No.
found. It's
Well,
not an
Stone-
alternate
all
reality.
stones were,
but
It's a
that
straight
that
line.
leads me to another thing. Like, we know there's a Loki series coming, and I feel like it's going to explain a lot of these kind of missing pieces from when he escaped with the Tesseract. But I also think that another thing I kind of wanted to ask was, like, when Steve had to return the Soul Stone, what was the trade-off there? You know, because Natasha gave her life for it. You know, a soul
He
for a
just
soul.
had to
Does
throw
that-
it
does that
back,
tr-
bro.
Does that trade work twice though? Is what I'm trying to ask. Okay.
Steve doesn't get the Soul Stone. He returns the Soul Stone, so
I know, when
he
I'm
doesn't
saying
have
when he
to kill
returns it-
anybody.
Yes, but when he returns it, like, so how does it?
Does
how
he
does
get a spirit? Does he get his soul back?
No.
Yeah,
No.
that was my.
The
That was my
writers
question.
have said no. There is no
Okay.
returning of souls.
I'll take that. I will take that as a, like, that was just my main question. But that's like another thing. I want to pay attention to what the writers have to say, and I could give fuck all less what the directors have to say.
So, yeah, but so basically, what you're saying is, so if he went back in time, he's living that life while, and there's two Captain Rogers basically on the same timeline, two Captain Americas. Then that is kind of some like some Back to the Future shit, dude. That is. I'm sorry.
And yeah, and
here's
another
the thing,
and
he
another
knows
thing
a
that
lot of the-
oh
he
sorry
knows a
Rob.
lot- He knows a lot of the events that
He does.
are coming, but he also knows that there's events where he is there.
Right.
He
So
also
there's
knows
nothing
there are
he can do.
events. Yeah, he also knows there are events that he can't interfere with in order for things to unfold the way they have to.
This is true.
Because if he does interfere with them before they're dealt with, it fucks up everything that has to come
You're
later.
absolutely
Fixed
right.
points in time cannot be fucked with or changed.
And I'll think of this: if he sets off one thing wrong, Thanos could easily win.
Good point. I mean, good point. Well, among other things, other things that happened. He has the knowledge of knowing how everything works out.
Right.
Okay, so he knows how it's all going to end. He knows how it's all going to go down. So as he's watching, so this is why I disagree with you, Nick. I don't think he's morally bang. I kind of agree with. It must have been really hard for him, though.
But
Yeah,
at the same time,
hard for him.
let's think about it. Let's also think about this too. Now he goes back to, what is it, the 40s?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when he was during the war. Yeah. So
By the time all this shit happens, he's already an old man. There's nothing
Yeah.
he can do.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. He's
Why
still
would
got-
he be an old man in the 40s?
No, by the time
Yeah.
everything starts going down in
Yeah.
the mid 2000s to late
Just remember,
2000s
he-
when all
he's
this
not-
started.
He doesn't
Even in
get
the
close to that.
even the shit that would go down in the 80s, like Hank and Janet. You know,
Right.
like he's already an old man at this point. Like
Yeah, he's going to be in his 70s then.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's an old guy, so he can't, But come on, man.
So you're saying that you think that Captain America would let his old age stop him from interfering in events that he knew was coming?
No,
I think
No,
he
I'm saying-
passed the information along to Peggy, and it went through whatever channels it needed to go through for things to happen the way that they needed to happen.
That
And actually,
channel
it
is
makes a
called
lot-
a vagina and an anus.
Hey, but you know what? That actually makes a lot of
it's only a vagina.
Because think about how much knowledge Peggy Carter
That's what I was about
had.
to say. Peggy was a smart woman, dude. Well ahead of her time.
You remember her
That
what
was-
was it? Her grandniece was saying, like, her secrets had secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I mean, it just kind of goes back to that moment.
Yeah.
Like, even her secrets had
Right.
secrets. She
Oh,
didn't even
is
tell
that-
me everything.
Is that right before he makes out with her, or is that later on?
I think that's before. I think that's prior to him making out with
And
his
then-
future wife's grandniece.
And then Chuck in the chat brings up a great point. Steve brought back that fully healed shield.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe-
he brought
maybe
that back.
stole
So when's Sam gonna go back in time and put it in the correct place where it's supposed to be?
Yeah, he might.
It is in the correct place where it's supposed to be.
No, it's not. It's taken
Bucky-
out of the
Bucky shoulda-
timeline.
Bucky should have got that shield. If we're going to talk about my only other issue, I picked up the Captain America book whenever it was the heroic age and Bucky Barnes was slinging that shield.
Yeah, I
and
know.
they had done so much build up for Bucky to get that fucking shield, and they gave it to the dude who's had like the least amount of time with it in the comics.
Yeah,
See,
but-
Yeah,
my-
the
come
only
on.
argument.
Get the fuck out
Go
of
ahead.
here.
Go ahead, Dalton.
My theory is maybe he went back far enough to where he could prevent anything happening to Bucky with the brainwashing.
No,
No.
couldn't go that far back.
Nope.
Bucky fell at least a year before the whole Red
Right.
Skull thing.
Yeah, that he fell in World War II or shortly after,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
He fell during the
found
first
Bucky
American Captain America movie.
Yeah.
He fell off that train in World War II.
There wouldn't have been a way for him to tell when Bucky would have even been in the Soviet compound and when he was discovered. Yeah, so no, like that's I think that would have been definitely beyond his reach.
Again, too, you
But,
guys.
however,
he has to be disciplined. He can't be fucking with shit. He has to be
Absolutely.
And he brought
Exactly.
brought that shield forward in time out of the place that it was supposed to be.
That was not disciplined. He should not have done that.
Well,
That's a no-no.
also in that alternate timeline, because I'm maintaining that it is an alternate timeline.
It can't be an alternate timeline.
Yeah, I disagree.
It absolutely
I do not think it's an alternate
100%
timeline.
is an alternate timeline.
How?
They said that
Quantum mechanics, man.
they said they said that if you move something out of time, it needs to be put back exactly
They said
where.
they moved a stone. If they moved a stone out of time.
Stone, not
Yeah.
out of time.
Okay, so then
Stone.
they should. So then he should have kept Mjolnir.
Well,
There was no point in him bringing Mjolnir back because it wasn't a stone.
But it wasn't. But like he knew what that hammer meant to Thor. Like, why wouldn't he return that to Thor?
Because
especially when that hammer helped them out in Ultron. You know what I mean? Like that was the whole deal of like all of them knowing that Vision was trustworthy because Vision picked that hammer up and handed it to Thor. Like certainly he would know that. Like, man, I probably wouldn't have trusted Vision if he didn't hand Thor his own hammer.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
You know,
Again, branched reality. There's a reality where Vision doesn't lift the hammer.
There's also a reality
But
where
that's what
there's not
that's
gonna
the
be-
whole theory of time travel in this, that there isn't a branch off.
You guys are also assuming there's only one shield.
That's another point I wanted to get to.
Yeah,
like
Mjolnir. Mjolnir
plenty of
was-
vibranium. Plenty of vibranium.
Well, and that's the thing. Mjolnir is it is one thing. It is one forged equipment. It is anointed.
One of a
It is
kind.
yeah. That shield was just a weapon. It wasn't something special. It was just made of vibranium, and there was fucking vibranium everywhere in Wakanda, because they made the one. Everybody assumes there's only one, and that doesn't.
Yeah.
If they had to make one, they were gonna make more.
and
They didn't
this
make
al-
more.
They did.
They didn't make more because if you listen in Captain
That we know of.
America, it was a specific alloy of vibranium that they couldn't duplicate.
At the
What's-
time.
At
That
the
shield was
like
been
that's
wrecked how
only
many
that's
times
only
So-
like
over
you,
the years?
So he
looking,
goes
you're looking
back-
at something that was said in the 40s whenever there was 70 years to have another shield made. Come on, man.
And Stark
So then,
made
where's the other shield when fucking Tony takes the one from him?
He didn't need it
Why
I mean,
didn't
like,
he need it?
because T'Challa gave him whatever technology he needed.
All right,
like I
peace,
don't
Sam.
know, and like that's another thing. Like I don't know how active they were openly during their time in exile. Like would he have really been carrying around a shield? And like he gave it to Tony. He was like, fuck this, I don't need it.
Yeah.
That was his deal. And then T'Challa gave him the little spiky shields and whatever. But
You guys keep glossing over the point.
that's the
It's
thing,
a-
man.
it's-
Like I'm not like
dude,
there's just
no,
there's too
no,
many
no, no, no,
there's
no.
too many unknowns, but it's also all within the realm of possibility that he got his hands on another shield, a fixed shield. To get the same.
shield
From
that
where?
shield
Who's
also
gonna fix
belongs
the
to-
shield?
shield
So that means that he had to
What
go
I'm-
back to Howard Stark and have him fix the shield.
No.
From
it
the
doesn't.
future,
That
he
just-
had to bring that shield back, which he didn't.
Maybe
No,
he went
he's
to
in a-
Wakanda.
As I was trying to say, he lived out his past life in an alternate timeline. Maybe in that timeline there wasn't a need for a Captain America anymore, and that's the shield that he brought forward. It doesn't have to be the specific shield from at some point in the MCU Prime or 616 timeline.
I don't
That's
subscribe
from
to him.
somewhere
I don't
else.
subscribe to him using the pin particles to jump forward though. Like that's the big thing that we disagree on, Josh. Is
The other
that
thing,
I don't
too,
think it was an alternate timeline.
Before this all happens, before he comes back as old Cap, he already knew Shuri and T'Challa. You're assuming he just yanked it out of time. Who's to say he didn't 6 months before the fucking final events of this movie, pop into Wakanda it can't be 6 months because everybody's fucking gone, but shortly before the snap, come in and say, "Hey, repair this, please."
Or at any point,
a new one.
At any point in the 70 years that he was, doing his thing, have a new one made.
But imagine having it when he still looks younger.
That's another thing. We want to talk about T'Challa for a minute. Like, he's part of the Illuminati, isn't he?
Yep.
There's no Illuminati in the MCU.
Anything
that you know of, you don't know about the Illuminati.
Well, not only that, but it's just there's not an Illuminati yet. But like, T'Challa's a dude that can keep a secret, and I think Steve knew that. Because T'Challa was hiding them all along. He was hiding Bucky. He wasn't.
Yeah. I would say Bucky was the big secret. He was hiding.
Well, I mean, not just Bucky, but the rest of they were operating out of Wakanda and with Wakandan tech. So, if you were if I was Steve Rogers, I would have trusted T'Challa at a certain point to walk into Wakanda and say, "Hey, I need you to do this for me."
And how was he going to get into Wakanda?
Well, right the fuck up. He already knew how. Absolutely.
And
he's been there enough.
And especially after all the events of Civil War, he had an established relationship with T'Challa and Shuri and everybody in Wakanda. Mm-hmm. They were going to know it was him.
Even old man Steve could have walked up into Wakanda and said, You're
assuming he went and did it when he was old. Maybe he had foresight that he was going to do this. And when it went and got the shield when he was still young. Remember, he had the ability to pop around time.
Right.
He did not have the ability to pop around time. He had enough pin particles to put the gems back and return.
Who's to say he didn't stop in one of the timelines where he had to put the gem back and
grab some more. Who's to say he didn't?
Well, you also saw that he grabbed 4 vials. He grabbed 4 vials whenever they had gone back. I think after he saw Peggy and was able, I think that's when he made up his mind, and that's why he grabbed more than just 2 vials.
Yep.
Not to mention he went back to that same spot in the timeline because he had to return one of the stones to that spot, which means he has access to more of those pin particles.
I think most of those would have been gone, but at the same time, he grabbed 4 vials of pin particles. After the funeral, Hank could have made some more to give to, that's, Hank Pym was in play for him to even...
We don't see this, and this is all assumption.
Oh no!
All we know is that he didn't go back in time with a shield. He had to pluck that shield out of somewhere.
He did.
By doing that, when does Captain America get a shield?
That's
because
that's
it's not in the timeline.
But that's also your assumption. If we're gonna play that game, you're just making the assumption.
What? Yeah. How am I making any assumption?
Because you're assuming that he plucked it out of time when we're assuming that he had another one made. So right now it's just a battle of semantics.
Okay.
And really, all it is at this point in time is somewhere along the way he had access to another shield, and it was a symbolic passing of the torch.
Now, can I tell you the part that I busted a nut at was that whenever he picked Mjolnir up and threw that shit at Thanos and laid the fucking pain down.
That was fucking great.
And he stood up against the entire fucking army that Thanos had. And he didn't say it, but it was like that understood. I can do this all day. And then you hear in his ear, "Can you read me?" On your left.
Oh,
dude, God, man, that dude, I've watched that every single day since the movie came out. I've fast forwarded to that part. And
he was about to bust a nut himself. He's like,
he was just like, I knew it, yeah. Then everyone walks through except for the Defenders, which was fucking trash. And I don't care. I don't give a fuck about no legal bullshit. It's fucking trash, and we all know it. But
I agree. It sucks.
But whenever he finally said the Captain America rallying cry, Avengers assemble, damn son, nobody was on the fucking seats.
Goosebumps.
The paraplegics were standing up, everything, dude. It was.
I was. Because you got to remember, I had to, in order to get a seat on opening weekend at any point, I had to buy a wheelchair seat, so I therefore had to get a wheelchair out of the fucking closet. But yeah, when I got to that point, I did kind of stand up.
Dude, yeah, because
people were looking at me. I was like, I got the power to walk again.
It's a miracle.
Because that's the rallying cry, and like that's the first time that he said it. He teased it at the end of Ultron, but he never really said it. He's like, ah. But man, when he just hollered for all the Avengers and he caught that fucking hammer, and just real subtle, just real somber, just assemble. Like, fuck, dude, it was on, dude. It was motherfucking on. I'm so pumped, dude. I'm tired of walking back and forth, just like swinging my arms around. Dude, I busted all the nuts.
Even
like,
Nick said that. Nick said the last hour of that movie made up for a lot of the bullshit.
Yeah,
but
the last hour made up for a lot of the bullshit.
That one scene especially.
He wielded that hammer like a fucking pro. He's like, I've seen Thor do this. Man, from fucking uppercutting him to bringing down the lightning, hitting him with it, throwing it at him, using the shield and the hammer. God, dude.
Yeah, pulling that, what he learned from the first Avengers movie.
Money.
Even the whole girl power scene where
that was fucking dope too, man. Like that shit was, oh, dude.
Yeah,
whenever they're just like, we'll like, we got this, like, like, hi Peter, we got this, and like fucking Okoye was just like, she has help. Fucking dude. Like, I call that the baddest bitches in the galaxy scene, because that's what that is.
That was a nod to the A-Force comics.
Dude, I fucking love the girl power scene. That shit was fucking fire. And then to watch her Scarlet Witch go ape shit,
dude.
Fucking Thanos.
You took everything from me. I don't even know you. Like you will. Fuck, dude. The witch threw Daddy Rainfire. This bitch is killing me.
That motherfucker took an entire artillery to stop her.
Yeah, dude. Like dude, the witch is severely underpowered. The witch and Thor both have been severely underpowered since day one, in my opinion. But I still feel like we got Thor at his peak.
I kind of get it, because Scarlet Witch was still figuring out her powers through a lot of this shit, and she lost her shit.
Dude.
The courts came the fuck off.
And like
Dakota.
Yeah.
One thing I just thought of, that you're trying to maintain, and I hate to go back to this, but I'm going to prove a point. You say that it wasn't an alternate timeline that Steve went back and stayed in, right?
Right. I'm saying he went back and he stayed in the main timeline.
No. But the reason why I'm saying this is because 2014, what's her name? Nebula. 2014 Nebula, she's still helping Thanos. Present day Nebula kills her if she wasn't from an alternate timeline.
Right. That's where shit did confuse me. That's where shit fucked me up.
Every
Not just Nebula,
they went to. Yeah, that's the thing. That's how it shows and establishes its alternate timelines. Because if it was just going back in time and then coming back to the same point in time, Nebula killing herself, she would have vanished at the exact same moment that she died. But
that means
she's still present. That means
that's not how the time travel in that movie works.
Let me like, we talked about time displacement, and I feel like traveling through the quantum realm qualifies them for that time displacement.
That's not how the time travel in that movie works.
That was
not alternate reality.
They never really did a great job at truly explaining that. I feel like it was for fucking sweaties like us to argue over it.
Yeah, I think so.
but also, like, going back to just the highlight of this movie, when Thanos got the glove and him and Stark just kind of wrestled over it, and that line again, "I am inevitable." And then nothing happened, and then you see all the gems just lighting up, sliding up Tony's arm, and you like all that, like that's like fucking that early '90s like comic book feel with all the lights, and it's going everywhere, and it's coming up his arm, and I am Iron Man, fucking boom.
Dude, I got into an argument on one of the groups over this shit because that's the fucking lamest thing. It's like, if you have any fucking background with this character, you know how powerful that line
that's
is.
That's the start and the for it to be the finishing line, dude.
Circle.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Perfect to end his arc.
I'm glad that I'm just glad that. Don't get me wrong. I liked him as a character, but he's a human being. he should not have been able to wield that power and live. So I'm
He
glad
didn't.
He did. That's the thing.
Gave him like
He didn't.
8 burns on his
Dude,
internal organs.
whenever Pepper asked Friday for a vitals, like she was just like, "Oh, he's fucked." Like,
yeah, and but you're wrong. I'm complimenting them on that. That's the way they should have done it. You know, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna take him out. That's a good way to take him out. But
That was
it's,
the most
you know,
epic way.
best
was.
and like that was to me that was the second best part of that movie, and the first best was just Cap going toe to toe with Thanos all by himself.
But look,
Yeah.
Like,
all through these movies, Iron Man has pulled off a lot of crazy shit. Okay,
mhm.
but he's just a guy. He's a normal human being underneath that suit,
Right.
right? Underneath that
Mhm.
armor, right? This
swinging above his
this
weight, yeah.
Billionaire,
swinging above
playboy,
his weight,
philanthropist.
exactly. Yes, and this final scene showed, you know, you know what, guys, remember, he is a human being.
So
You know,
something
he's
else, like
fragile. He can be, you know.
the director's cut of this movie was rumored to be a 4-hour-long movie, and it's supposed to be like extended fight scene. And dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait to see, like, because I feel like a lot of that's also going to be more of just Cap versus Thanos.
Right.
You know, like I want to know what got cut for the theatrical. Like what other cool shit did we miss?
No,
Do you
and then
know
the
that
sorcerers with everyone else too.
Yeah.
I do know that there is one scene that was cut where you remember how at the end of Infinity War, after Thanos did the snap, and he's in like this
Yeah, I
way
heard about
station,
this.
and he's talking
Yeah.
with young Gamora. She's like, "What did
Gamora,
it cost?
yeah.
Everything." There was
Oh,
a
yeah.
film they shot where Morgan, Tony, and Pepper's daughter is grown up, and she's like a young 20s version of Morgan talking to Tony at the end of it before he moves on.
Right. She basically going to show up and tell him, you know,
What
it's
did it
okay,
cost? Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
and
That's
we're
the
going to be
whole.
okay. Yeah.
It would have been the whole like redo of like Thanos talking to the little Gamora, you know, and she asked him. And that's another thing. I hope that, you know, I don't think the Infinity Stones are done for in the MCU, and if they are, that's dumb because there's still so much lore behind those things, like Soul
Right.
World, and you know, just a plethora of other
Well,
things.
Well, they're not
Even
destroyed,
Lady
they're still
Death.
there. They're just
Yeah, right.
Okay, and just because you brought up Lady Death, I think that was a major mistake changing Thanos' fucking motivations for
Yes.
this movie.
Absolutely. I will
Because
agree.
if you think about it, supposedly his fucking thing is, oh, I want to bring balance. Okay, you can bring balance, buddy, but you're gonna have to keep on killing after that snap because everything is going to go out of balance because people produce twins, animals produce litters of more. So it's literally from the time
of crisis too.
Yeah,
Well, here's the thing.
literally from the time that he snapped his fingers and killed half the fucking universe, his plan was over. Like
okay, now here's
go ahead.
I was gonna say the thing with the Lady Death thing. I'm a little fuzzy on Infinity War because I haven't watched it for a while. Didn't he mention something about that in Infinity War, and then it just kind of
No. The only mention of death was at the end credit scene in the first Avengers.
To challenge them is the court death.
And then he smiles. So I thought I was like, oh shit, they are gonna do it the right way.
I still think that Mistress Death may be on the table for a future film. I just don't think it'll be in the capacity that we would like for her to be, because I feel like maybe that could be something, you know, like a lot of people were talking about the Black Widow movie coming out, and it is a prequel, which is unfortunate. But everyone's like, well, how is it going to be that if, you know, Natasha is, you know, gone?
It better be about her and Hawkeye in Budapest. I swear
I hope
to God.
so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope it covers that at the very least.
And
Honestly,
some
I
more of
hope
the
it
Red
covers.
Room.
I hope it covers not only the Red Room stuff, but if you remember in Winter Soldier, like she made a comment to Bucky, and it's stuck with me ever since. You know, she was like, you know, don't you remember me, or something along those lines. Like, don't you recognize me? Because like she would have gone on some missions with the Soldier. Like that's like she knew a lot about him for a reason, and I hope they expand upon. I feel like that's going to be one of Sebastian Stan's other movies in his contract, 'cause he's still got like. I think like 4 or 5 movies left in his contract. So,
well, I mean, he'll be in Black Panther too. I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be in that because he's still living in Wakanda, right?
like at this point, like who's gonna try to persecute and prosecute him, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm sure he's got a little shack there. It's cool.
He was I was gonna say he was at the funeral, and Thunderbolt Ross was at the funeral too, and Thunderbolt Ross really wanted him. So.
No, I don't know. I guess it depends on where he's at mentally. He seemed like he was there to heal more than anything, mentally and get his shit together, get his brain right. But I don't know. I just assume he'd be in it again, because they kind of linked him there for a while. So I thought he would be in that maybe. And I mean, are they going to do another Avengers movie or no?
Down there.
For sure.
I
think
probably not for a while.
I think what we're gonna see is, because of the overall praise that the baddest bitches in the galaxy scene got, I think we'll see A-Force, I think we'll see Young Avengers, and I think we'll see New Avengers. I think they're gonna go all out and just essentially build all these teams and do a couple of movies with these teams.
I don't think that you're gonna see Young
How
Avengers.
many more movies are they gonna be making? Like another
a whole crap load.
They announced 8 for the next. What
was it?
See,
3 years?
2 coming out next year, and then 3 a year coming out for each year after that. So 8 for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Shit.
But they didn't name any of them, so we don't know what any of them are going to be about.
Yeah, that's
So
smart.
there's a chance that now speculation, because it has been announced: Guardians 3, Black Panther 2.
Yeah, those ones.
Miss Marvel,
Black Widow, Mrs. Marvel. So there's 4 of them.
What about? I mean, are they going to do a Captain Marvel sequel?
Well, yeah, they announced Captain Marvel too.
Black Panther 2.
They also mentioned the Eternals.
They're doing the Eternals.
And so
they're doing another one with it's a dude. He's like an Asian lead, and I can't think of the Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
I don't know a whole lot about that.
The master of the martial arts.
Okay.
Master of Kung Fu, man.
Okay.
Well, isn't there supposed to be a Doctor Strange sequel?
There's Doctor Strange number 2 coming out. They cleared.
So that's probably the next phase right there.
They cleared all because they did have earlier. They did have at one of the fucking Comic-Con reveals how they do like the fucking phase things.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They had Black Panther 2. They had Captain Marvel 2 listed. And then
Guardians. I'm pretty sure
Guardians 3 was on there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they have taken every name off of what they've released for the schedule. It just says Untitled Marvel movie throughout the whole thing. So we know things that are in production. We just don't know when we're gonna get them now.
We also know the first family is or not the first family, the Fantastic Four. We know that now they are on limits. We know that X-Men is on limits. I think the landscape that they maybe had planned is also going to go through some changes to accommodate for those two things. Like I don't like Fantastic Four, but I realize like that's one of the most popular things Marvel has had, and so is the X-Men. The X-Men is very popular.
They're rebooting X-Men, right? With the exception of Deadpool.
Yeah, they're recasting completely aside from him.
Yeah.
Man, that's another thing. Like, God, Magneto.
Fassbender.
Actor. Fassbender is the fucking goat for Magneto.
I agree with you.
I don't disagree, but I think at this point they should just recast every one of them.
I think they should, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I love the young X-Men that we're getting now, and I'm glad we are still getting the Dark Phoenix movie. But I think that all those actors are still young enough, especially like Sophie Turner, man. Like, let her stay on as Jean Grey and let Fassbender stay on as Magneto.
Oh, I would even say, Holt is Beast and McAvoy is Professor X. I love them, I do.
I'm down with that.
At the same time, just the X-Men universe has been so inconsistent, and they want to make this their own. They're not going to want to bring in what Fox has built and
that's what it
up.
means.
I understand that. Like, I understand that completely. Yeah. And, I get the whole, like, if you don't recast, people get confused. But, man, fuck those people. Like, I feel like even those people would be like, okay, like, these are all faces I'm familiar with. And 2 movies with this new cast. This would make the second movie with the new cast, not including McAvoy, Fassbender, and the dude that plays Beast.
Right.
Like, they're still relatively fresh, and like I don't doubt their ability to cast good, even no-name people for some of these roles because they're gonna have to.
They will.
But
I guarantee they will.
I think what we've got, man, it's a good lineup. Just to even just restart the story, do something different, whatever.
But I totally agree with you, Duca. But I think that what they want to detach completely from that box, from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They recast Spider-Man. They're going to recast all the mutants.
So they're going to recast every single character. I personally think they should keep some of them.
Yeah.
Because they want to detach it and they want to start this fresh. This is ours now. Yeah. This is what we're gonna do.
It's like only exception being Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool.
It's like Josh said a while back. He goes, they're all tainted now from the old movies.
Yeah, but see, I don't like that word because that word makes it like the actors did something wrong.
Yeah, and like
when you tell me Hugh Jackman is tainted, I got a problem.
Yeah,
I will also fist fight anybody. I'll fist fight anybody. All the X-Men movies since the first one have been great. Even Apocalypse, even Ivanhoe's Apocalypse, like I'll fist fight anyone who wants to throw down.
All right, well, when Reston, I'm gonna stump the shit out of you because Apocalypse was an atrocity, and that is my namesake. I used that screen name in Sabanur.
I get it. Okay, so would you have had a problem if he looked more like Apocalypse? Was it just a visual thing?
No, his look was fine because they actually nailed the look. From certain angles, the look was nailed. From other angles, it looked bad. That's just a look that doesn't translate well to the screen.
Right.
But Apocalypse's classic look has never been consistent anyway.
Yeah, that's fair too.
But like the face and everything, that was nailed. It was just the story was just so bad. The story, it had potential to be great, and there were some great things in the movie. But
like
overall,
all X-Men movies, they shoved about what should have been 3 movies worth of material into a single movie.
Exactly.
That's the only complaint I have. But overall, I have enjoyed all of those X-Men movies, and it may just because I love X-Men more than any of the other Marvel characters, like barring Captain America. Like anytime, if I could just get X-Men movies and Captain America movies going forward, that's all I give a shit about. Like, I feel like I'm going to find enjoyment in them no matter what. And I will admit my bias there, but I wouldn't call it an atrocity either.
See, I liked a lot of them. So I can understand why people weren't crazy about them. There was some things that are a little obnoxious in the movies. I get it.
Yeah,
I would put Apocalypse in middle of the road out of all of the X-Men films.
Well, we know Hugh
I wouldn't call it the greatest. I'm sorry, Rob.
Hugh Jackman, we know he wants out of the series too. He's aging out. He's kind of done with it.
True, but he has dropped hints that he would.
Yeah, he has said publicly that he would come back as Wolverine to do a movie in the Marvel universe.
Right, in the right issue, like the right circumstances, I think for him.
I like him. If they do that, I hope they do it post Secret Wars 2015 style as Old Man Logan. Even though he died in the Fox one, blah blah blah.
At this point, they're gonna have to.
Right. And that's what I want. I'd love to see Old Man Logan, wrapped up in with because if they are gonna do this whole multiversal thing, this different universes thing, that's what I want to see Hugh Jackman as.
Well, and as far as the Old Man Logan flick too, though, they're rebooting the whole thing, so that's essentially.
And that's but like I was just saying, like as far as like him as a character, that's who I want. That's the Wolverine I want to see him back as.
You want to see him as the old Wolverine.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like you said, like there's really no other option.
Right, because he's up
there.
But they can always do makeup. They can make you look young. It's fine.
And like they did in the film too. But that's still fine. But like I think he's past the point of pumping 30-pound dumbbells before every single scene just so he can look jacked.
I like old Wolverine anyway because he's more rugged, man. He's like he's like a tough old gritty motherfucker.
He does not give a fuck about killing anybody.
been through shit. You know what I mean? So he's like, fuck, I'll fuck anyone up. You know, I don't care.
Yeah, like he's at that
like
point
it.
to where like death is the answer. You know?
Exactly. Oh, like he's looking for it. You know, it's great.
Yeah, killing is his business, and business is good.
Yeah. It would be fun.
Major pain.
I know Anna was hoping he would make an appearance in the next Deadpool movie. That's what she was hoping, and I was like, well,
Man, they teased it so much.
I know.
Yeah.
She goes, just a cameo,
Especially with their fake beef too.
Even if it's I was gonna say even if it's just like a scene where like Deadpool gets like knocked into a convention or something like you know, just like a nerd convention or whatever, and Hugh Jackman's like, "Hi there," and you know, like something quirky, silly.
Well, that was the end credit scene from Deadpool 2 where he fucking butters up to Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think she wants to Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and somehow in there, and I was like, well, I said that might be a stretch, but maybe he'll do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
interesting. I'm hoping. I can't wait to see what they do with the X-Men franchise. I would like to see what they're going to do with it.
I need it. A lot of like everyone that knows how big of an X-Men fan I am, like they're all just like, well, get prepared to wait, and I'm like, that's fine. I don't have to go. I don't have to go to any like, you know, and like that's why like I wanted to kind of circle back. Endgame left me feeling such a sense of finality that, you know, after this 10-year adventure, it's come to a close. It's a jumping off point to me, and like, you know, Far From Home is the last official movie in this phase, and I'm gonna view it as an epilogue to Endgame, and like whatever they tease, whatever they may or may not tease at the end of it, I could honestly give a shit less until X-Men comes back. When they announce X-Men's coming back, then I will catch back up on the MCU and watch it going forward. But until then, like I said, I'm fulfilled. I'm very fulfilled with where things are, with how Endgame left everything. Like,
what do you want to see? What do you want to see them do first? Fantastic Four or X-Men?
X-Men, fuck the Fantastic Four. I don't care about
I'm all over the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I mean, you could honestly save Fantastic.
Well, Feige said in an interview earlier this year that X-Men and Fantastic Four will both be in production by the end of this year.
Oh, okay. So are they going to
they're going to parallel them
then?
Right. I'm not saying they're going to be released at the same time or anything, but they are going forward with production, which means they're going forward with casting and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Story, and then they'll fucking get the movies going.
Listen,
See, that leads me into.
Go ahead.
Well, before we step into this, I actually had a question. Did you guys feel that the storytelling with Black Widow and Hawkeye, you know, on Vormir was like regressive?
No,
not at all.
I did.
What do you mean by progressive?
Regressive.
Oh, regressive.
Because okay, Clint saved her when she was a Russian spy. She saved him, you know, during the first Avengers movie, and now she goes and sacrifices herself for him again.
But I get why she
did it too. She did it for his family.
Yeah, she definitely did it for his family.
Right, but I mean, she robbed, and Clint was killing all those people. Clint's ledger wasn't clean.
Neither was her. She said
that's the whole point. His was more recent than hers. She's been living on the up and up since. She's done what she's supposed to do. Clint hasn't. Clint had to redeem himself, and how did he do that in this movie? He didn't.
You also kind of
hear because, dude, you know, if she didn't do it, his family comes back. They live without him.
Yeah, and he was willing to make that sacrifice, and she stole it from him.
He was, but that's not stealing it from him.
I feel like he was.
She spared that family the pain of having to come back with him not being there.
Well, I feel like Clint definitely was not in his right state of mind because of losing his family and because of everything.
All these terrible people still being left alive.
And that was that was his whole point with Ronin. It was all these motherfuckers survived the snap, but my family, The wholesome beings that were my family did not. So these pieces of shit are gonna die.
Everyone
Right.
deals with it in their own way. I mean, Thor drinks beer and fucking eats
Turns into melted ice cream.
Yeah, and then he goes and kills people. It's
I just think that I didn't like that. I disagree with
Dude,
that.
that was to me the most heart-wrenching scene in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Especially when she.
No
kicked
way,
off of
that
him
wasn't
and,
the most heart wrenching scene in the movie to me. The most heart wrenching
me it
scene,
was.
the most heart wrenching scene in the movie is when Pepper tells Tony that he can rest now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did. I'm gonna lie. I dropped a tear. I won't lie. I did.
Yeah.
There were so many payoffs and so many even comic book nods. Like another favorite of mine, because like I feel like Nick Spencer's run of Captain America is definitely my second favorite. Almost my favorite of all. But whenever he's in the elevator with those Hydra agents and he leans in, he's because he knows he's in the know. He leans in and he says, "Hail Hydra." Like that was a callback to that issue.
Yeah.
You know how fucking funny.
Yeah, I kind of got
Dude, I
goosebumps
laughed
from
my
that.
ass off on that.
Yeah, dude. It was because that was the first time like a Captain America comic got a lot of like social media buzz. Like I remember that was all over Facebook. Like,
Well, that wasn't the first time, but it was the first time since he had gotten killed that it got.
and like I said, in a long time, in a long time, it was like as far as like seeing anything on Facebook about it, long time, and like so the fact that he they did the nod to that. That was huge, but like there's just so much payoff in this movie, and like man, I'm just like I'm good.
Yeah, but like Brink in the chat says Ronan went vigilante. Nothing wrong with that. Just ask Batman. Batman doesn't kill.
Well,
except for all the times that he has.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but there's been consequences.
the original.
There's been consequences for that, and Clint hasn't had any consequences.
But you got to remember, at this point in time, the entire world is in fucking chaos.
not
Laws
just the
gone
world,
out.
the
Fucking
universe, dude. The
Well,
universe
yeah, but
as a whole.
he's focusing on the world that he
Yeah,
knows.
yeah,
The
yeah, I got
whole
you.
planet is in fucking turmoil. Their laws are fucking out the window. He's watching all these pieces of shit living on, doing what they do, and killing and murdering and moving drugs, all this shit,
Go ahead.
and he just fucking loses it.
That was a great scene.
Right.
Because like trying to talk his way out of it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna kill me. Come on.
And then this is he and her are best friends. This is her
Yeah.
saving her best friend from torment of having to live without his family, saving his family from the torment of living without him, and her not knowing her family, her true past, and having nothing to live for at this point.
Yeah, literally,
They
that was her family.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'd even said like, did she have any family? It was like, and he was like us. You know,
Yeah.
but and like that's another thing. Like Clint was looking at it, I think, short-sightedly because he was just in so much grief. Like he was willing to do the test run. Like he was like, basically like he was ready to die all throughout that movie, and then he lost the last little piece of any kind of like fam, that he had, and
and then
it was
a
that
phone call from his wife right before it went down. And then,
but
I loved his story arc in this movie.
Yeah,
me
dude.
too. I love Hawkeye in general.
Well,
I love that character.
I mean,
I do
as
get
far
what
as
Nick is
far as storytelling goes, it just doesn't work for me because
Man, what kind of stories do work for you? Because so far, nothing
know.
in this movie did.
God
The
damn,
la-
are we doing this
the
podcast
last
with,
hour
dust
did.
fights?
the last hour did. I mean, the
the
whole
last hour was fun.
but up to that, the entire movie was questionable.
Like I just questioned some choices they made. That's all. But I like I said, overall, I liked the movie. I thought it was good overall. There was just a few things that I was like, ugh, I didn't like it, And I mean, hey, that's what's fun about this shit. Everyone can have different opinions. It can be different. It's fun. I wouldn't say it sucked. I would say it's my least favorite. It's the least favorite of all the Avenger movies.
Clint is not an assassin.
No, he's
What the
not.
hell is he then?
Ronan is.
In the movie, yeah, but like saying that Clint is an assassin, No, he was a circus kid that fucking, you know.
He was a
Yeah, but that
soldier,
wasn't his
he was-
background. That was
Yeah,
established
that wasn't
in
his
the
back-
movies.
yeah.
He was a shield assassin in the movies. He
Right.
was an operative. He was an assassin. So
Well, I knew. I will say this, Nick. For not being an assassin, he sure killed pretty well.
I liked what they were kind of setting up at the beginning of the movie with Clint teaching his daughter how to shoot.
and he called
Granted,
her
like-
Hawkeye.
Yeah, well, yeah. So like, I feel like that's why I think we're gonna get a Young Avengers
Also
with Harley as
Cassie,
Iron Lad, with
Cassie
Cassie,
Lang as Ant Girl.
yes, with Clint's daughter as you know Hawkeye, and like so there's just a lot of like little things, little seeds, you know, for particularly young actors and actresses that could carry the franchise even longer than you know this current previous group.
Well, I mean, they kind of almost are setting it up for there to be like
Stinger.
another
That's
generation.
right. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, Ram. I couldn't think of her name.
Yeah, she's already had so many fucking identities, and she's only been around for a while. She's been Stinger, Stature.
Yeah,
Stature is what I was thinking of.
Yeah. I think she even went by Giant Girl at one point.
Yeah,
yeah. She needs to pick an alias and stick with it.
yeah, no, true. But I mean, like I said, I had some issues with it, but I think most people liked it overall. It was.
I wonder how much Agents of Shield. Granted, like you know, the season premiered tonight. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think any of us have. But you know, like it's supposed to take place a year into the 5-year gap.
No, she was
I wonder-
Stinger too, Chuck.
What they're gonna focus on?
Yeah, she was Stinger too. What did Chuck saying she wasn't?
He said nope, just Stature.
No, she was Stinger.
Yeah.
I remember that. No, so event you're saying Agents of Shield it takes place like a year.
1 year after the decimation.
Yeah, 1 year after the snap.
After the snap. Shit.
So
there's some storytelling there they can work on. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many possible things they can do and branch out between this 5-year gap now. And then plus, you know, you've got this other Loki out there running around with a Tesseract now.
Right.
So I'm sure that's where his show's going to focus, and I'm sure we'll get a lot
Well,
of
then Gamora
information
too, just
there.
out there.
Yeah, and we got
We've-
another version of Gamora out there
We've
now.
got the Ghost Rider coming up pretty soon too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a little okay. I get that version of Gamora that came from the past, basically, or from the
It was-
past.
Yeah, 2014.
And, came in. So that version of Gamora hasn't met the Guardians of the Galaxy yet. She hasn't met any of them
No,
yet.
because when Star-Lord laid one on her, that was the first time she'd ever seen him. And
And she like knocked the but I was like I then when she was gone, and I was like, well, where the fuck is she at? And then my daughter's the one that said, well, she doesn't know them. Why is she gonna hang out with them?
But she does know
Exactly.
Nebula. She does know Nebula.
Nebula, exactly.
Wasn't Nebula present on the ship?
I
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was on the Benatar.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
She's
that's
been
kind of
just to go back to Cassie Lane real quick. I'm just looking right now. She's
Yeah.
been Stature, Stinger, Ant Girl, and Giant Girl.
okay,
Okay.
so
Mic
she did
drop.
go by Ant Girl. I thought she did.
Okay. I forgot.
so
we
like,
were
like
all
dude,
right.
I'm just saying, man, like Young Avengers, like that's the setup for it.
You know,
like
you're not. There's potential there. I see it too.
Well,
I don't
they
think-
seem like they laid down the beginning. They laid the seeds for it. I think with just even having some characters in it. It's
We've
there.
also got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series coming too, and
And
I wonder
then
if that's going to get a
WandaVision.
name. I wonder if that's going to get a name change to Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or
Or
something along
Captain
those lines.
America and Bucky.
Yeah,
You know, keep
something.
it classic.
So that's going to be a
something along those
series,
lines.
or is that going to be another movie?
That's
It's
going to
gonna
be a series.
That's a
On top
season
of
plus
series,
isn't it?
Sebastian Stan's however many movies he
so.
has
So
left.
they're getting the same actors. They're going to be in. They're
Yeah.
in the movies. They're going to do
Yeah.
a TV show.
Yep.
That's fucking incredible, dude. Well, I just
Yeah,
don't
I think it's like
Yeah,
a
there's,
short series.
There's also a Scarlet Witch and Vision series. It's called
Yep.
Wanda and the Vision, and the rumor is it's going to be taking place in the 50s.
Oh shit.
That I don't like. That's something I'm kind of.
That's-
I wonder if
how's
that could
that
be a
gonna
potential.
work?
I wonder if that could be a potential setup for House of M.
I don't know.
You know, because she's still reeling with the loss of vision, and that is gonna fuck with her mental state. And we know how the Scarlet Witch gets when she's off her fucking rocker.
Yeah.
Also, Brink, I do think Shuri downloaded Vision, and I think we will see Vision come back.
Now, do you think it might be a gray vision?
White, yeah, the white version of Vision, like he was in the comics in the late '80s and early to mid '90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh damn, dude. Oh man, that motherfucker was some
Because when
color.
when Thanos ripped the Mind Stone out of him,
Yeah.
I mean, he lost his color, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's gonna come back as White Vision. That was like the only thing I didn't, we didn't see happen in this movie, but I get it because it would have been kind of hard to do.
Yeah, when he just destroyed the stones with the stones.
Yo, I like that Howard the Duck helped save the universe. Like the thing is, I didn't catch that at first, so I was thinking I was bullshitting with everyone saying like in the like tossing out like bullshit spoilers, thinking like that was my go-to was like, dude, Howard the Duck saved the universe. And come to find out, he was he came in with a big ass gun and fucking helped save the universe.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, dude,
Well, Howard's a bad little motherfucker. You piss
that's
him off.
incredible. That's so incredible.
That's funny. That's cool. I like when they do shit like that. I mean, I'm kind of curious about the next Avengers movie. What it'll be. What's going?
I don't think we're gonna see Avengers for a while.
You don't think we'll see him for a while?
They're gonna focus on X-Men and Fantastic Four, and then
I think we'll see the champions before we see the Avengers.
And
you see, like with you saying champions, dude, I think that we'll see champions instead of Young Avengers.
Okay, and like I could see
and they're
the champions for
right.
sure, 100%.
That's what I'm saying, so that they can
get
that fucking trademark out there.
They're gonna focus on Avenger members, individuals
as the champions,
in the individual movies. So they're gonna like, all right, I see. That's all right. I'm cool with that. As long as I get a Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I'm happy. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're great.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is confirmed.
Yeah,
that's also
especially
since Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I was waiting for Adam Warlock to.
Yeah, James Gunn had confirmed when Guardians 2 came out that he was saving him for Guardians 3. And that, we weren't going to see him in Endgame and all that. But
I'm glad of that actually because he's fucking that's awesome. That'll be fun. That'll be good. Don't. Yeah, you got to have something to go on after Endgame, So.
Yeah, but it's just like it's like you got to, but it's like I don't care. Like I was telling everyone, I was like, I don't care about whatever they got going forward. Like Guardians 3 is probably the only thing that I'm kind of even remotely in on, and even then, I may just wait for it to hit DVD. Especially if it's going to be, like in the middle of the next phase. I don't want anything from the past, whatever comes before that to kind of, overshadow or spoil or whatever. Like if I run into spoilers online, so be it. But
Dakota rolled over, lit a cigarette, and said, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what happened, man. Like, I got mine.
Like it. That's nice.
Yeah. I'll go for round 2 whenever X-Men start hitting.
Well, Nick, it sounds like you and I are the only ones that had any problems with the movie. So.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I mean, I had some issues. I think it was a little heavy-handed on the comedy at times, and I've been saying that since Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
And I think that did bother me. The aspect of Professor Hulk, he was a little too laid back and jokey, but he was needed for his intelligence and. For other things, he wasn't totally useless. I'm sorry, Nick.
He was.
I don't think Mindless Hulk could have put that glove on and snapped his fingers.
No, Mindless Hulk could barely fucking. String words together.
I think what Nick is saying is it's almost like they had to come up with reasons to have the Hulk in the movie but these were all reasons that could have been handled by other characters in some way. So it's like the Hulk's contributions. Or you just have to have him there because he's a member of the Avengers.
Yeah,
I would also just to kind of like the way I'm viewing Endgame. Yeah. I'm looking at it like originally Infinity War was supposed to be Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2, and I'm viewing this as Part 2. Like I'm viewing this as a complete I'm looking at this with Infinity War in mind as one complete viewing, like just a big, 5.5 hour long movie. Like that's how I'm seeing it. So I'm seeing all the serious parts of Infinity War kind of balance out a lot of the jokey parts in Endgame. Like that, and then maybe like that's just how, like, that's why the comedy to me wasn't heavy-handed, because we got a lot of very serious shit in Infinity War, and I loved Infinity War because of that. Like, I'm not gonna knock either of the movies for being too light or too heavy on one or the other.
I got you. Maybe they were. Maybe that's why they were trying to be. Maybe because if you think about it, the way Infinity War ended was a very depressing fucking ending. Okay.
Yeah.
And this movie starts very depressing, right? So maybe what they're going for is that nobody wants. I mean, nobody's gonna enjoy a movie if it's all depressed, boring, horrible.
Yeah, I mean, you need some levity to help lighten the mood.
So maybe that's what it was. It's just I think my problem even wasn't even as much with the comedy as much as the comedy was very forced. It was like not done well at times. It was kind of forced, but then sometimes it was funny. I did laugh a few times. I did, but there were a couple of jokes I was like, come on,
dude. The funniest parts of that movie was Rocket.
Well, Rocket's always great.
Because Rocket's always great.
Yeah, he's great.
What are you gonna do? Go get another haircut?
Yeah. That's fucking up.
Yeah, what do you think runs through these veins? Cheese whiz?
Yeah. Hey, come here. Come a little closer. Stand right here. Pow! Like, dude.
That's Rocket's character, though.
Yeah, like, I loved it, man.
Like, little fuck.
Yeah, I loved it.
But he lightens the mood. He lightens the mood a bit.
That's Nick's favorite character out of everyone is Rocket.
I think that's what they were going for with doing a lot of the comical moments in the movie, is they were trying to lighten it up, because if you think about it, it's pretty heavy. I mean, it was a mass genocide. Let's be real.
and like, that's another character. Like, I liked that they paired him with Thor, because he was the only other character that had lost everything.
Yes, that's true.
Exactly.
He lost his whole family, dude. All of them, all the boys.
His whole family too. Yeah, that's what he called them. My family.
That's right. They were his family.
If you look and make a character comparison. Look at Swerve from IDW and Rocket.
That's Rocket. Yeah.
Movies. They are always cracking jokes, but always like the ones that are silently suffering from
hurting inside. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So.
It's a shame. It's a shame we'll never get another Swerve that great. Like, just while I'm on that, while I'm on that kick, I still haven't read issue 4 yet, but I'm not making it a priority.
Of course you're not, because shit sucks.
That's the thing. Like, man, like right now, if I didn't, I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't judge it until 12 issues. Like that, I feel is
to do, isn't it?
Yeah. That I feel is where like you're gonna know what the stride is gonna be. But yeah, dude, it's getting pretty fucking rough.
I read 3. I got through 3, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm done. I can't do it. It's just horrific. I just don't like it."
I read 3, and I didn't read comics for weeks after that.
Yeah.
That's the thing, dude. It was so like, it's so underwhelming. Like, I can only give you cliff notes of what's happened, like just from the first and like the beginning of the second issue. Like, I really can't even remember what happened in 3. Like, that's how underwhelming it was.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, there's 8 more issues before I give it the the do or die. That's where I decide to shit or get off the pot with that.
Well,
but you fall asleep on the toilet though.
Yeah.
only when it burns.
Woo! Nice.
Because I black out.
All right, have we hit this up enough?
I think so. We're at 11:40 right now.
Yeah, you guys want to go ahead and nix it, and we'll do some after show.
Unbroadcasted, yeah.
Yeah, some unbroadcasted.
One quick question that I have is,
what's up?
Damn it.
Who do you guys think the next big bet is going to be?
I'm hoping.
100% saying Galactus.
I don't think so.
The Skrulls.
Yeah, I would put money on the Skrulls after the Marvel movie.
See, I thought wasn't Galactus more of a Fantastic Four villain?
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody
being
subject-
brought into the MCU.
While we're on the subject
That's
of
the point.
Fantastic Four villains, I hope it's Doctor Doom.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Not
Yes,
me,
yeah.
man.
fucking epic that would be.
No, but I mean, everyone else is saying Kang and Galactus and this and that. I
Kang is
want,
future Doom.
I want to see Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Like because like we've seen this big, powerhouse alien dude bring the hurt down, but what happens when we see a guy?
Just a guy.
Yeah,
Like,
just a guy that can bring twice that kind of hurt.
Nice.
Just a guy who's a sorcerer.
A guy who
Yeah.
has diplomatic immunity because of his own nation and is essentially not only, like the equivalent of Tony Stark, but he's also a sorcerer too.
Right.
So it's like you throw
Yeah.
Iron Man and Doctor Strange into one character.
Yeah, he was a hyper
Right.
intelligent.
Still he's but at the end of the day, he's still a guy. He's not from the planet Titan. He's
Right.
not a world devourer. He's not an eternal. He's not, a beyonder.
He's mortal.
He's a fucking dude. And that's what he's not he's not a dark elf or all these other big bads out there in the universe. I want to see them crumble the MCU in the next saga. I want it to be the Doom saga.
It's nice, dude. He's always been one of my favorite villains. He's been awesome. I liked him.
Yes,
See-
absolutely.
a lot. So I
See what?
whatever I-
Oh,
go ahead,
sorry.
man.
I was just saying that, like, my hope for the Fantastic Four movie
Mhm.
is that they start it at the beginning and they go with Mole Man and make it a giant fucking monster movie.
Mole Man, that'd be fucking great, dude. It would be so great because I'd like to see how they would do him on screen. I always like to see what alterations they would make and how they would make him. With modern day technology, it'd be fun to see what they can do with that. Make him just kind of a. You can make him
Honestly, like with Fantastic Four, I hope they bypass the origin thing. Like we've seen, just like Spider-Man, we'd seen it enough. I hope they treat it
there.
I hope they treat it like
I don't know.
like Tom Holland, where it's like everyone knows the
Well,
the
here's what
Uncle
you do.
Ben story, and I
If
feel
you-
like everyone knows the
Here's what
whole.
you do. If you do it really quick in the beginning, or really, and when I say really
Or
fast,
as a flashback.
as a flashback, or like Reed telling the story. Reed's telling the story. This is we're the Fantastic Four, and this
This is what happened to us.
This is what happened to us, right? A quick,
Yeah. Okay.
That's
It'll be like
it.
10
No,
minutes.
see, I want them to go full Godzilla, King of the Monsters on that shit.
On the origin as well.
Yeah, the whole first Fantastic Four movie. Let them
Oh,
go up into
shit.
space.
Yeah.
Let them come down. Do it
Yeah.
just like the first issue of the fucking comic.
Yeah.
And then they fucking find out, oh, there's this dude fucking creating havoc out in the middle of the fucking ocean on Monster Island. And then you get the fucking Fantastic Four fighting all these big ass monsters, and then bang, you're off and rolling.
I'm not against it, but I don't know, like doing the whole introduction thing, like, or the origin of like how they got their stuff. Like I said, I feel like it's just kind of
It's been
common at
done.
this point. Yeah, it's just been done. It's just common.
I could go with that.
Do
I
it
mean,
quick. Do it if they're gonna do it quick. Just
We know how
15 minutes or
everyone
less.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go ahead and dip because we're
Okay.
at 11:45 basically.
Indeed.
So
Long show, guys. So
Yeah,
I hope
you
everyone
get-
enjoyed it though.
Yeah.
Sorry for talking so much.
it's all right,
no.
Dakota.
Don't be.
Fucking.
No. I'm glad you were so spirited, man. It was cool. It was good to have some. It's good. It's good to have good. That was good talk. I like
Put
it.
some fire in your guts.
Yeah, man. Have fun.
All right, so guys, we're gonna go ahead and start rolling the end credits. Josh, can you get the
I'm
unbroadcasted
doing
link?
it. I'm doing it right now.
All right.
All right.
Everyone, have a good night.
Thank you guys
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for
Yeah,
coming.
thanks for having me.
All right.
Thanks you guys for coming on. Appreciate it.
So watch the end credits, guys. There's all the shout outs to the Realm, the Cool
Yeah.
Table Network, Crashbox Customs, and Etchbox, I believe. I don't know. So
Catch it quick. It goes in a blink.
yeah. All right. So we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace,
Adios,
love,
guys.
and hair grease.